While these stories were exploited,
oh, I didn't mean those to play yet. I ruined my opening. Hello, 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 Cybes, and I'm sure many guests. We are here to talk about Anthony Gramuglia today. And Goon is really going to be the name of the game, I fear. Fucking everything, something always has to, I had such a perfect opening, guys, and of course something always has to go wrong. That's it, I'm giving up. No, I'm kidding. Hello, yes. So, rest assured, I'm going to front load the stream with all of the drama you guys are here for, and then we'll react to the entire old, fanservice video of his. So let me explain why this stream is happening. So the other day in my Discord server, someone was watching Harmful Opinions. As you know, Harmful Opinions has been after Anthony and his crew for a bit. SkittyBitty, the Birdman, Anthony himself. You know, there's just certain things going on with those guys. Somebody offered Harmful Opinions Anthony's old fanservice video. Not the one he did recently, the one he did 2 years ago. And so we were just kind of flipping through it. I wasn't thinking much of it until I saw a particular infamous image as I scrubbed through it. And I listened to the clip, and I was quite surprised by what I heard. So, I decided I was going to rescind voting for Friday, because usually I have you guys vote on a Friday stream, and we were going to talk about this, because I think having this be a companion piece to the SkittyBitty stream is possibly important. So let's get our first super in. I saw somebody had one. My mouse is acting up on me today.
At Super Brownie 247 sent a super chat. Hello Queen Sai. I'm excited to hear your takes.
I'm going to have many. So many of you may know that I was a former collaborator with Anthony Gramuglia. I saw him as a colleague, I saw him as a burgeoning friend. He apparently hated me, our entire association, and bragged about that on a stream with the Crimson Ender, which is real cool because, I did thumbnails for him at a steep discount to help him grow his channel, and, I even offered him money one time for guesting on a stream of mine, but I was just such an asshole, guys, probably because, I had thoughts and opinions of my own and didn't immediately bow to his, I guess?
At Savage for Life for an 8328 sent a super chat. I genuinely hate how Ant thinks challenging media has to directly show dark topics like SA. These topics can be done without showing them.
Well, you know, it seems to me that there's a certain type of male director who just loves to put their sexual fantasies about brutalizing girls and women on screen, and then there's a certain group of men who will sit around and say, no, it's really deep and meaningful, you guys, when really they're all just getting their jollies from it.
At Weak Freak sent a super chat. Popcorn for everyone. Popcorn emoji.
Yes, you're gonna need it. Well, let's let some more people trickle in. I see
popcorn emoji.
We've got 180 people on YouTube right now.
Popcorn emoji. Popcorn emoji. Popcorn emoji.
There's a lot of popcorn.
Popcorn emoji. Popcorn emoji. Popcorn emoji. Popcorn emoji.
Yes.
Popcorn emoji.
Yes.
Popcorn emoji.
You're gonna hear that in your dreams.
Baby 6969 send a super chat. It's crazy how all of this started because you liked the gay demon cartoon and they didn't for Twitter brain rot progressiveness reasons.
Yeah, Anthony went around befriending all of the little, has-been hotel Vivzy Pop haters I was making fun of on stream. That was very important to him for some reason.
At Sonic Vegeta sent a super chat. Watching this while grinding into Sky.
Nice. A lot of people are playing video games right now.
At Sketchy Wolf Grill 9564 sent a super chat. These guys really tell on themselves in the most rabid-induced way.
I know. I mean, I was thinking about, it's like the story about Last Tango in Paris, where the 48-year-old director just sexually assaulted the 19-year-old actress because he wanted a quote-unquote authentic reaction out of her, and he says he doesn't regret it even though she hated him for the rest of her life and said she felt raped. Yeah, but, you know, that reaction is just in the movie, but it was for the art, so it's okay that he molested this unknown actress that he had power over.
At Hurtworks sent a super chat. I've only heard of this manga because it was so messed up it became a meme, like those old gross-out internet vids. Trying to make it out to be art is nuts. Sometimes the curtains are just blue and...
I wasn't aware of the actual content of it. I just knew it was a meme people like, it was like, if you know type thing. I didn't think much about it, but I was like, I've heard things about this thing, and, this doesn't seem good, and I have looked at it. It is just pornography. There's no way around it. It is simply pornography. He's going to deny that.
At Savage for Life for an 8328 sent a super chat. Also syntax, get your side toy.
I don't know what melody that is. Get your side toy. I don't know. I don't know what you're referencing.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. And went nuts after the breakup. WTF happened?
I think he was always like this, fam. People have been telling me, like, gee, Sai, you would always joke about how Ant and Krim are keeping you on a leash, but I think you were actually keeping them on a leash.
At DinoNuggy22 sent a super chat. Sup, Sai. It's been a while. I was shocked when I saw the thumbnail and title. Nice thing to listen to while I create a King poster for a raid.
Oh, excellent, thank you. And thank you for all your super chats, guys. I do appreciate it. I will be pausing them as I tell this tale, and we'll find stopping points to do groups of super chats. That's how I've come to do,
At Mr. DeBossBaby6969 send a super chat. Syntax Angel of Death by Slayer. Just the scream.
I also don't know that! So I just go, ah!
At SuperBrownie247 sent a super chat. I'd quiet was so sympathetic to the has-been hate-em.
Yeah, I don't know, and I never want to hear Anthony Gramuglia say that VivziePop fetishizes rape ever again. When he is, like, double, triple, quadrupling down on defending this rape porn manga about a 15-year-old girl.
At Eagle Irvine sent a super chat. You'd think he'd say the same about Boku no Pico?
I fucking hope not! That was another thing people would shock each other with, but that is porn. Like, you can't deny that that was made to be titillating to someone. Just because you are a normal person and don't find it titillating doesn't mean that isn't the purpose it was made with.
At Cyberonko sent a super chat. I did read part of this a while ago. It was too much for me.
Yeah, it's just gross, hateful, misogynistic porn. That's all it is. There is nothing, there's no deeper meaning there. And we'll go over that. Alright, I think that was all the supers for now, so... Oh, no, one more.
And Megan Sales 4130 sent a super chat. First Sai stream I caught live.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for anyone whose first stream this is. I promise you, we're gonna do nothing but fun things next week, okay? This is probably gonna be the last time I tackle drama for a while. But I just, like I said, in light of everything else going on around Tony Gabagool, this seemed like something I should talk about.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. I blame you for me learning about this.
Yes, well...
Crying cat face emoji.
As I was saying, it was offered to Harmful Opinions, who didn't look that deeply into the video. And we just happened to be flipping through it, and I happened to see this, and this is what Anthony had to say about Metamorphosis.
While these stories were exploitative, they told stories beyond the fanservice, and often the fanservice could be downright unpleasant. But now, it's relatively safe. It's not shocking. It's not controversial. You rarely see anything too extreme or mature. Unless it's hentai. And I don't feel like making a video essay about Metamorphosis today. But Metamorphosis is kind of what I want to see more in fanservice. Really shocking, really upsetting, unpleasant, disturbing, but meaningful.
So you heard that right. He said Metamorphosis, a non-stop rape porn manga where a 15-year-old girl is raped into enjoying being raped on drugs until she becomes a bimbofied pregnant homeless prostitute, is meaningful, and what he wants more anime fan service to be like. And this is what he said about it when I posted that quote on my Blue Sky. All I had to do was post a clip on Blue Sky, and he gave me so much material. I have to say, Anthony, you attacked me when I was small. And now you're just giving me material. You know, all the same things you said, the harmful opinions. It's about what a hypocrite you are, Anthony. That's why we're doing this stream. Anyway, so here's what he said. been sent this a few times. Sigh, the quote is arguing that we need more challenging media that disturbs instead of trivializing violence or fetishizing trauma. You do realize that just this month I also recommended I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left in a vid, right? How does he think that makes him look better? Let's talk about I Spit on Your Grave for a second, shall we? He brought up again here with, oh, here's Talking Movie Bubbles is in chat. He says, oh, that's an old vid then, like one of my first. I remade it because I didn't like how it turned out. And then he's bragging about promoting I Spit on Your Grave again. He hasn't changed his opinion, Talking Movie Bubbles. So yeah, I Spit on Your Grave. Let's see what that's like. So here's the 1970s poster. Here's the 2010 remake poster. Something you may notice about this quote-unquote rape and revenge film is that the cover just shows the violated body of a woman in a titillating pose. The attractiveness of her body is the appeal. We don't even see her face. Because who needs to see her face? Why should who the story is apparently about have her face visible, and why don't we just be invited to ogle her body after she's been raped? Very dark and meaningful, everyone. Very dark and This is what I'm saying about men just putting their sexual fantasies about brutalizing women on screen and other men coming along going, yes, yes, it's so deep, it's so dark and deep. No, it isn't. It's just your fucking spank material that you made a movie out of with a bunch of young actresses. You know? Like, I'm sure he'll be out there like, it's in the Criterion Collection or something, so obviously it must be meaningful. Now, I had thought that he, like, bragged about liking movies like this because, I don't know, he wanted to be like a cinema snob type guy and be like, oh yes, I know all the old controversial videos, I'm so badass. But, you know, I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to fucking wonder after all of this. So let's move on. Here he says, it's not like it's even a rare take to say Metamorphosis is a well-told story that has deeply disturbed its readers. The creator has been interviewed to say he drew from his life experience writing the story. It is hentai, but that doesn't mean it can't also be about something. And here's just a collection of dialogue from Metamorphosis that I put under that tweet of his, so you guys can just read that and see if you think that this is a serious work exploring the trauma of a young raped girl, or if this is just fucking porn made for titillation. You want to take special notice of this panel here about something happening on the baby. There was literally an inside shot of her body as a guy ejaculates onto the baby in her womb. And you're trying to tell me that this doesn't fetishize the trauma? The whole thing is a fetish. It starts with a young girl in her first year of high school, 15 years old. She gets a makeover so she'll be more popular. First thing that happens is an older guy meets her at a convenience store, invites her out to karaoke, and rapes her. And of course, because she's been raped, now she's a slut who's hooked on it, because of course she is. So she thinks this guy is her boyfriend now, and he keeps exploiting and grooming her. Then her friends at school convince her to do compensated dating. She goes out on a compensated date with an old guy, and then he rapes her. Of course. And then the boys at school get a picture of her outside the Love Hotel with the compensated dating guy, and so they start raping her with their blackmail. And then later, her father starts raping her too, because why not? And then her mother finds out and kicks her out of the house. And then she gets caught being raped by the boys at school, and drops out of school because everyone writes slut and bitch on her desk. So she goes back to the guy who first was grooming her, and is just continually getting raped by him, and raped at the guys in the bar he owns, until she becomes a spray-tan, blonde-haired, tattooed, bimbofied prostitute. She gets pregnant and has an abortion. And then she keeps having sex for drugs until the guy who groomed her kicks her out. And then, somehow, as she's homeless, she still has the spray tan and the blonde hair, because, yeah, she can afford to do that, dye her hair, and it's not like it's a fetish or something, right? So then, she takes a bunch of drugs and is masturbating on a playground when some homeless guys come by and rape her. So she starts prostituting herself to the homeless guys. Well, she gets pregnant again. One of the homeless guys is screwing her in a cardboard box. And again, there's a close-up shot of him splooging on the baby in her belly. And then she goes to a coin locker to get her money. She is doing heroin while she's pregnant, by the way. And at the coin locker, some school kids, which might be her friends from school, but they don't recognize her, see her with her money, strip her, shove a bottle in her, kick her pregnant stomach until she miscarries, and the entire time she's getting off on it. She is, like, a Hagao facing every single rape scene, you know, that over-the-top, tongue-out, eyes-rolling, anime face shit that virgins wear all over, sweatshirts, you know that? She's doing that every single rape scene. She gets off and orgasms left and right like 50 times every rape scene. So after she orgasms from getting kicked in her pregnant belly, she goes into a bathroom where she's miscarrying. There's just blood pouring out of her. And she decides to take all the rest of her drugs until she overdoses and dies. And that's what Anthony Gramuglia says he'd like to see more anime fan service be like. And again, there's nothing deep here. It is just pornography. It is drawn to be titillating. Obviously, most normal fucking people are not going to find it titillating, so they have that disconnect to it, which is probably how it became a meme to paste the, like, you know, post the first panel at people who have seen it. But he says, oh, it doesn't fetishize the trauma, even though the whole point is seeing this girl be degraded and humiliated and dehumanized and just raped constantly while she's too airheaded to realize she's being taken advantage of, and she likes it anyway because getting raped once on drugs just turns you into a hypersexual slut, of course. And she's called a slut over and over again. And again, you can see the dialogue here. This is not deep. This is just fucking pornography. And I find this really hypocritical, given Anthony Gramuglia just went after Alex Myers' bad takes on Obsession. Like, sure, his takes were pretty bad, and Alex Myers can be kinda sexist sometimes. Nowhere near on the level of this. He just helped SkittyBitty try to paint a guy as a pedophile for having lewd art of Riju from Tears of the Kingdom, who might be 17, but no one seems to be sure. Called that guy a pedophile, but this porn about a 15-year-old girl being constantly raped and enjoying it is nothing to raise a brow at, huh, Anthony? Like, the hypocrisy. But of course, this is all him reacting to the very idea that I'm doing this stream. This all happened yesterday. What else do I have here? So, actually, here's from the man himself who wrote the manga. Anthony says, oh, he drew on his own life experiences, and it was supposed to just be, like, really deep and disturbing. So, here he says it's a preachy story, probably because people tell her tanning her skin and getting tattoos makes her look trashy. You know? She gets off on begging and being humiliated. Here he says, I wanted Metamorphosis to be about seeing the charm of a girl who is going through genuine misfortune. It's charming, guys. It's charming to see a 15-year-old get raped repeatedly. Also, the Trash Taste guys interviewed the guy who drew the thing. Which is just great to see 4 men sitting around chuckling about how one of them just drew rape porn of a 15-year-old girl. But here's what he has to say about the purpose of this comic.
Like, when it was in the magazines, it was because the editors didn't want it to put it up front because it's kind of like
shady.
Yeah.
So it was always at the back.
Oh. Damn. Trying to push it under the rug. Right? Yeah.
So it's kind of low key for a while until like people I think online just picked it up. And started memeing on it.
Yeah, because I remember when I interviewed you like 3 or 4 years ago, I asked like if you know like.
Well, there you go. I wasn't gonna show any, but you can see one of the faces she's making during the rape scenes right in the thumbnail. So I don't know how you can say this isn't just pornography made to be titillating.
Memes, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I'm very up to date on the memes." Yeah, because it's just like I don't know, like.
Why are they laughing? Because they're men. This is rape culture. You're seeing it right in front of you. Lots of people laugh at that term, about the very idea that rape culture could be a thing. You're looking at it.
Do you think like the memes like kind of, I don't know, take away from like the message that you were like trying to portray in Metamorphosis, or do you just kind of just like, no, I enjoy the memes, it's whatever?
The memes are fine. I mean, I don't really I don't think about putting out a message when I make a story.
Right.
You know,
just something you want to talk about. Or
yeah. I mean, like, I just wanted to make it entertaining first and foremost.
Yeah.
I don't think about putting out a message when I draw porn. I just wanted to make it entertaining. You were meant to be entertained by Metamorphosis. Not challenged, not upset, not disturbed. You're meant to be entertained by it. I think I'll turn poor Shabuzi off for this section. I don't want to besmirch. Damn it, now Anthony's asking for my password. No! Don't ruin my music. Okay, Megalovania's fine.
But I think
I felt entertained. I felt something. Yeah.
Well, you know, podcast is entertaining.
I'm kidding.
But I think though, like, you know, regardless, I think like a lot of people read Metamorphosis and was like, there's some hidden message here. There's like some kind of like deeper meaning, like to this like story, because it's just so different to the standard doujins you would read, right? Like, you know, the normal.
Except it isn't really, because there's plenty of rape manga out there to be, again, porn and titillating, but this is a particularly bad one because it is kind of, I wouldn't say it's realistic because she just gets raped non-stop by, like, everybody she meets, but, like, there are people in these kind of grooming, trafficking situations, and he's just fetishizing it.
Normal doujins is just like, boy meets girl, boy fucks girl.
Yeah.
That's kind of it, you know?
I mean, I would say, like, out of every, you know, ero doujin I've seen, or ero manga, like, I was probably, like, the most invested in any, like, story as I was in... I wasn't as invested in any other story as I was in Metamorphosis in terms of just seeing the characters develop in the development that you gave them, and just
characters develop. She just turns into a spray tan bimbo, and that is the appeal. Oh God.
You know, like a lot of things outside of just the hentai
Look how much
scenes
he's
and the
clearing
sex
his
scenes and
throat
everything.
saying that.
I was properly invested in the characters and the ending, and that also made me even more invested in the ero scenes as well.
Right.
I thought that was like fantastic. You know, I don't know how much of it was planned on your ends, but it was it was absolutely incredible.
Well, as long as there's like a seed of a story in there, I think people will pick up on it.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, a lot of hentai, I think, especially since maybe early 2000s, they've been streamlining it to make it more like I don't know, fappable.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, I think we've seen enough of that, but he says, from the author's mouth, there was no message to Metamorphosis, and he just wants it to be entertaining. You are meant to be entertained by seeing a 15-year-old girl repeatedly raped by every group of men she meets. So that's cool. That's real cool, Anthony. That's super cool. So, here's what some of his fans and him are saying about it. So Lord Pyro says, "No, yeah, as someone who read it out of morbid curiosity, it's actually really good in a fucked up sort of way. It's kinda sad, but it's kinda known as the fucked up porn comic, when it's more a brutally tragic and unflinching story of abuse. It's porn. You're supposed to get off on the abuse. If anything, I think it works as a method of flashbanging people just looking for fat material by putting a mirror up to them and going, 'Hey freak, this is the kind of shit you're rooting for.'" So this guy thinks the author spent 3 years making hardcore rape porn of a 15-year-old girl to pwn the gooners. And again, we just watched the author himself say there is no message, and he wanted it to be entertaining first and foremost. And Anthony says, "Exactly. It's a deeply disturbing story about how we as people push vulnerable individuals deeper into poverty, addiction, and cruelty. That story does not work if you don't feel for the character at every soul-crushing step. She is just a sex object in the story. Like, seriously. There is nothing deeper here, you're just a fucking gooner. And you get off on the brutalization of women. So here Mr. Norab says, Metamorphosis, I would argue, is actually fetishizing trauma. And Anthony says, I disagree. So you can decide for yourself, but I would say it is fetishizing the trauma. Like, that is the entire point of the porn, is how much this girl is dehumanized and humiliated and degraded. So here's Kippy, calling me, like, too stupid to realize it's more than just jork material. And here's Anthony saying, oh, absolutely. She, meaning me, is super sex negative, though. While I have always been very sex positive, I think it's absolutely cool if you have whatever kinks or preferences you want, so long as it's sane and consensual. There's, like, nothing consensual in that manga happening. So... But Made in Abyss is, like, pedo-gooner shit, sorry. I mean, as an anime fan, sometimes you just have to go, God damn it, Japan. I mean, let's be real, there's pedophilia problems everywhere, all over the world, but no developed country has, like, the casual pedophilia that Japan has in its entertainment. So yes, I'm sex negative. I'm sex negative for criticizing an underage rape porn comic. I hate the term sex negative. I think it's used... Yeah, it's just used to mean prude. It's great that you're using the word sex negative to shame a woman who has valid concerns about you praising an underage rape porn manga as being what you want to see in fan service. But then him and his friends, were getting a little confused. Polaris here says, doesn't Sai also have streams where she complains about Puritans getting on her case for drawing Tadak NSFW? Pick a lane, please. And he goes, yep. So she has suddenly become sex negative or is okay when she's commissioned to be horny. So, if you don't know, one of my older videos was talking about a bunch of teenagers who think, like, horny clickbait is going to give children a porn addiction, and I was making fun of them for coming at me and some of my colleagues. So what they're comparing the rape porn manga to is this. Apparently underboob in a pinup pose of an adult character is on par with rape porn of a 15-year-old girl. So they're saying, how can she draw horny things like this, but not be okay with underage rape porn? Wow, maybe because those are two very different things. It's almost like maybe I'm not sex negative, Anthony. Maybe it's I'm calling out bullshit when I see it. So this person, Kippy, says, she can't even get past the surface of a scratch and sniff sticker, let alone anything, and let alone any nuanced undertaking of literacy and horror while exploring violence and trauma. They said this in response to Metamorphosis. And then Anthony says, I guess that's why she never reacted to Alex Meyer's obsession review. I mean, she didn't even try, which I find baffling, because a ton of people are just echoing what everyone else said and is getting views. It could have been good for her channel, but she just didn't. Well, I have 314 people on YouTube right now, Anthony, so I think that's pretty good for my channel. But yeah, like, he's surprised I did an algo chase and talk about a subject I have absolutely no interest in. I haven't even seen Obsession. Why would I just make a video on Alex Myers? And again, he went after Alex Myers for that, but we can't criticize him about saying Metamorphosis should be what more anime fan service is like? I know, I never watch movies. Also, Backrooms is more my kind of horror, so I saw that one. And I'm working on a video of that one, too. But yeah, but you know, he does have a second fan service video that we're not gonna watch today. But, he also had something to say about Metamorphosis in that one, so let's take a peek at that real quick.
Companies are preventing you from buying this for yourself, and it's just getting worse, because what they are preventing you from buying, it's unclear what constitutes as inappropriate to them. It could be something mild. The language is so vague, you can't even determine it.
Because Visa is...
So, first good sign, citing passport bro legal mindset. Very cool, and very good.
Indeed, very...
In this second fan service video, which I think a couple of VTubers reacted to, he's talking about, you know, Visa and MasterCard cracking down on, like, fucking rape games on itch.io and how unfair that is. So that's cool.
Very much restrictive. And what they're saying is that they're not putting in filter terms, but they are saying they're looking at the type of content.
And to make matters more frustrating, government bodies have begun censoring anime as well, and instilling legal punishments for explicit material. And it's not just America either. You've probably seen an article over the time of someone bringing a very explicit manga in a restaurant.
So, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. The anime and manga, written by someone who has drawn Lolly and Shota, that has a sexualized little dragon girl in it. And before you say, oh no, but she's a 1,000-year-old dragon, there's also a elementary school-aged human girl who is horny for the little dragon girl. So that's cool.
For it, being stopped at the airports for it. And that happens. People have had to explain purchasing Metamorphosis in Canada, for example. And that's explicit, that's extreme, but it's also not illegal. It's a very dark manga, but it's not illegal to own.
Anthony wants you to know that Metamorphosis is not illegal to own. This is possibly for his future lawyers.
By any standards of the imagination. And yet, because of the shocking content within, it draws attention, you know? But there are cases where they're solidifying laws in place that can make it a crime to even own mainstream manga. Companies are preventing you...
Also, what's that behind him? That manga on the shelf all the way to the right on his, you know? What is that? Well, let's zoom and enhance. Well, what is this manga he has in the background? Oh, it's called Do You Like Big Girls? And let's take a look at the synopsis. Here on the back, we see all the girls posing in degrading hentai poses, so that's cool. That's really cool. A 2-in-1 Team Polycule, Shortcake Soda, was roped into becoming the hall director and coach for his sister's all-girl college volleyball team. Can the diminutive Soda stand up to and service all the girls on the team, ... even his older sister? Shenanigans ensue with meddling fathers, kinky Amazons, and the posing of the eternal question, are boobs a skill? So this is a harem manga, where one of the love interests is the main character's sister! And he deliberately put that in the background during his fan service video. I'm starting to wonder if you even knew what was wrong with Lily Orchard. His name is basically Shota, too. He's supposedly 22, but he's drawn like a child. Because of course he is. And that is his older sister with her tit on his head. Very cool, Anthony. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. I'm sex negative, though, guys. What else did I have here on his Blue Sky crash out? Ah, yes! The other thing I wanted to talk about. What she's clearly doing is trying to draw a connection between what I'm experiencing and the controversies both SkittyBitty and the Birdman are also experiencing right now, cause she's petty. I am, and it is. So recently, like I said, his buddy SkittyBitty was seen to be getting very close to 13-year-olds in their audience, who they are on a first-name basis with, and are telling to distrust their parents. Like, hey kids, Don't trust your parents, but you can trust me, your favorite YouTuber. Here's how you can get a Visa credit card, a Visa gift credit card behind your parents' backs to pay into my Patreon and get into my Discord server. So that's what's happening with his buddy SkittyBitty, who he has defended. So that's cool. Yeah, and here, this person says, again, the worst you can say about that drama is Skitty was being irresponsible and reckless. Or, you know, being inappropriately close to children and encouraging them to just trust their parents. 2 things you should never do. Here's another take on it. Here's Noah, Crime's New Roman, another one of Ant's friends that we have covered, who has lolly feet pics all over his videos. So that's a good sign. He says, what's going on with Birdman? Anthony says, apparently an ex-mod was caught grooming underage people, and people are trying to blame Birdman on it. The mod was also part of his unofficial Reddit page. And Noah says, yikes, that's not good, but if the mod isn't affiliated with him in an official capacity, then it still sucks. It doesn't seem like he's involved. Yeah, so if you go watch Harmful Opinions video on it, the one about the Birdman that says age is just a number on the thumbnail, yeah, he was sweeping for that guy. That guy was grooming a 15-year-old over several years in Birdman's server, and when the mod was called out on it, he just started banning people, and when the Birdman found out about it, he made it a bannable offense to ever speak of it. Birdman also was a really big Karen about Domino's Pizza, and that was hysterical. But more importantly, he is sweeping for groomers in his Discord server and appointing 14-year-olds as moderators. And then, of course, it was Oddly Noah, who Anthony also swept for until he did a copyright strike, and that was unforgivable, because Anthony has had copyright strikes. He never cared about the plagiarism. He only cared about the copyright strike, because as we know, when it comes to Anthony, he has to get in there and make it about him. So yes, listen to the Nice Nights music, everybody. And Oddly Noah was also financially extorting a disabled 16-year-old. So that's cool. And then there's Andrew Fargo, who Anthony cited and interviewed on his channel. You know, the guy who ran the Cartoon Museum in San Francisco and was found to have been putting hidden cameras in his home bathroom to film guests at his house parties, including children. So you can see what a concerning pattern is happening here. And I'm sure Anthony will say this is pedo-jacketing. Just like when people were first questioning SkittyBitty getting close to 13-year-olds, he immediately flew in and said, Skitty doesn't touch kids, this is pedo-jacketing. And we're like, Anthony, nobody said Skitty was being sexually inappropriate. Why are you, why is that the first thing you're jumping to? Yeah, you are looking an awful lot like Lyle Convoy in the ACC these days, pal. So, yeah, so with all his friends that he's sweeping for, getting close to teenagers, and now this, it just seems to, again, it just seems to paint a particular picture that is not very good. What else should I have here? Oh, yes, and then Anthony, in a flourish, decided he was going to reveal that he's still gay-opping my server. He goes, by the way, Sai, bait works both ways! Because this person was saying she's baiting you into responding, LMAO, and I said he already got baited, because all I had to do was post the clip on Blue Sky and respond to one person with it, and this all happened. And yes, he's a father of a almost 1-year-old. So yes, I don't know why he thought this was so telling. Me giving this visual reaction to him saying he disagrees that Metamorphosis fetishizes the trauma. But yeah, so he decided that to just reveal to everyone that he's still gay-upping my server, and he probably has been since November. He's acting like I'm the one who stalks and I'm the one who's obsessed, when he hasn't been able to shut the fuck up about me, and he's had people spying on my server for him? Thanks a lot, Lyle Gramuglia. Very cool. Anyway, so here's what he had to say about that. If you're going to bait someone, don't do it on a ship with more holes than Swiss cheese. I've known what you were planning from the start, but even I think this is getting ridiculous. Like hell, I didn't even tag you in these posts, and you came anyway, despite being blocked, but I knew that would be enough anyway. Anyway, thanks for the material. You'll be seeing it soon enough. Or soon again, I don't know. You're gonna back out of that stream like you backed out of the Artily Noah stream? You're never gonna make a video on Artily Noah or going over your DMs with him, are you? Because you know how bad it makes you look. And I know you know. Yeah, seriously, Remnant was ahead of all of us when he dubbed Anthony the late Yagami. Hey yo, Billy Donuts! We could use some levity, couldn't we? Billy Donuts is here, everybody. He's a favorite of chat. Hang on, I have to get his special thing going. Here we go. For Billy Donuts, everybody. Beautiful, beautiful, excellent. Man, I did get through this drama portion a lot faster than I thought I would. But anyway, as a final thing, people wanted me to show you guys this. I posted this clip a little while ago. Anthony hears what sounds like a loud cry of pain. Well, no, he doesn't even hear it. Anthony sitting there streaming, no headphones on. In the background, there is a loud scream of either pain or distress from his wife, and he doesn't even stop or go look. He doesn't even seem to hear it. So maybe this gives us some insight into, you know, how the women in his life are treated.
But a hard boy to go. It's really heartbreaking. But also, worth mentioning as well, another distressing, unfortunate piece of news. Pixar layoffs. Big deal here. What a
Yeah, so did you guys hear that scream in the background? Like, he said to somebody on Blue Sky who asked him about it that his son probably bit his wife. But that means he didn't even ask about it. It's like he didn't even hear it. Like, if I heard a scream like that coming from somewhere in my household, I would go BRB immediately and see what the fuck was happening. That doesn't sound like a normal, like, you know, surprise or startle or, oh, I just stubbed my toe kind of scream. Like, for God's sakes, what if she was unconscious on the floor? You know? No, if you hear it, I mean, I think I have it as loud as I can, but yeah, so yeah, that's very cool. And he got mad at me for posting that, but like, bro, I mean, I only knew about it because I saw someone ask him about it on his Blue Sky. You know? Like, holy shit, bro. So anyway, we're going to get into the rest of his old fan service video now after that, but we're gonna have another group of super chats. Let me just get rid of this tab group because I don't need it anymore. I think we're all good. We got through all that stuff and it's only been like 45 minutes. Hooray! So anyway, here we go. We'll get some more supers in.
At DinoNucky22 sent a super chat. Wait, Anthony is defending this age manga?
Yep, by now I've gone through the whole thing.
At the _space frog sent a super chat. We're all too dumb to get the deep meaning of porn.
Yeah, I know, and like pornography has gotten increasingly violent and increasingly dehumanizing and demeaning toward girls and women. You know, and like that is that not a problem we can talk about? Like, it's not dark and meaningful just because there's rape in it, Anthony.
At Savage for Life for an 8328 sent a super chat. Unpleasant fan service is just an oxymoron.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, fan service is supposed to be things fans want to see. Now, I'm going to assume he's using the very anime definition of fan service, which always means, like, sexual titillation. Right? That's what fan service tends to mean when you're talking about anime. But we do tend to use the word fan service these days to mean, like, anything that's just there to please fans. Like, anything to make fans clap and go, I know what that is! You know, that sort of thing. But when you're talking about anime, it has traditionally meant, like, sexual titillation. And yeah, I don't care if anybody dips now that we're past, like, the major part of the stream. That's why I front-loaded it, guys. I wasn't gonna drag it out for my sake.
At Dana_Brain sent a super chat. It's Erogoro. It's like a whole subcore genre in Japan. Metamorphosis became a mainstream talking point because of the shocking ending. Like, that's it. So no idea why Ant made a video on it.
The author also does draw Guro, which I'm sure Anthony also thinks is super deep and meaningful because women are being brutalized in a sexual manner.
At Gargarock Bob sent a super chat. I get end message, but using Metamorphosis as an example is yikes. Grimace
Yeah, it's not
face emoji.
it's not challenging. It's not challenging, it's not deep, it's not dark, it's just gross misogynistic porn.
At Espionata5011 sent a super chat. Anime can be so awful at times. Learning about people can never leave my brain shudder.
Yeah, like, and I'm sure some people out there are like, no, you can't, like, criticize anything about Japanese media that's racist or something, but, like, yeah, Japanese media has a lot of these problems. I'm not gonna pretend that American media doesn't also have a pedophilia problem. We got shit like Toddlers and Tiaras, alright? You know, that has been a problem with sexualizing teenagers in our media. Fucking Britney Spears was 16 years old when she did the music video for Hit Me Baby One More Time, you know, when she's in the quote-unquote slutty Catholic schoolgirl outfit. Even in shows where teenagers were played by adults, it's still set up like very highly hypersexual expectations for real teenagers. So yes, this is a problem all over the world. We can talk about the unique ways it's a problem in anime and manga.
At VarishWolf95 sent a super chat. Praise be the holy, bear emoji, the symbol of women.
Thank you.
At SketchyWolfGrow9564 sent a super chat. Corn doesn't equal mature.
Sumiwama in chat says, in all sincerity and respect, you sounded more like Pat from SNL than Rich from RLM. Yeah, I didn't quite go deep on the voice.
At Hurtworks sent a super chat. Even if it was meaningful, it ain't. Edgelord exploitation flicks aren't the same thing as grapecorn manga.
Yeah, but a lot of
At
edgelord
Mr.
exploitation
Boss
flicks were for the same purpose.
Sent a super chat. Armageddon is in the Criterion Collection.
That's depressing.
At Kona Kabistu sent a super chat. And Metamorphosis is my requiem for a dream.
I think one of his other fans, like, compared it to that, too, yeah.
At Eagle Irvine sent a super chat. WTF. Grown man with a family BTW. And get help.
What can I say?
At Super Brownie 247 sent a super chat. Why would he share non-con, corn emoji, with his audience? Why did he want to share his fit with everyone?
Yeah, why to his all ages audience does he keep promoting this highly, this highly problematic manga that is just rape porn that will disturb most people who see it? I'm highly desensitized because I've been on the internet for 30 fucking years. So if you're not desensitized like me, do not look it up. But yeah, why that? Why does he have, like, an incest harem manga in the background as he's talking about fan service the second time? I don't like the picture this is painting.
I trained 0W Gawisha sent a super chat. And, this is not deep, stop. Also playing Halo Tax.
Lots of people playing games. Master Mike says, remember when the Olsen twins were turning 18 and people were counting down? Yeah, they did the till she turns 18 countdown of Emma Watson too. It's disgusting.
At Jessale sent a super chat. This is H material that is constantly repeated, not necessarily as severe as this, because PPL get off on it. People pretending this is deeper or could be deeper than that need to go to therapy.
Yeah, no shit.
At DinoNuggy22
Stop lying
sent
to
a super
themselves.
chat. I remember watching an interview with the creator. He said that he wanted to make an entertaining story. It is not supposed to be super
Yeah,
deep.
we actually watched that interview where he said there is no message and he wanted to make it entertaining. So you are supposed to be entertained by a 15-year-old girl getting raped repeatedly until she's a pregnant, homeless prostitute.
At Denmark1226 sent a super chat. The JoJo's alt ending was the only good thing to come from this. It's no bad thing this was removed from the site.
I mean, it's a good example of the internet being both the worst and the best thing ever.
At Sauciness sent a super chat. It's a difficult topic. I love like Clockwork Orange and Martyrs, but they have something to say. The violence has meaning. Metamorphosis is juvenile.
He loves Martyrs too. Anthony seems to just love any media where young women are brutalized in sexualized ways. He seems to really, really like that.
At the Sunny Leaf sent a super chat. This is absolutely disgusting. Is this what people think when I am trying to explain that not all manga is bad to my normie friends?
I know, right?
At hero_culture sent a super chat. This is the problem with picking a side in things like the culture war. You will eventually have to defend something sketchy or you look like a massive hypocrite. Pro tip, just don't pick sides and make up your own mind.
Exactly. As the motto of this stream is, do what I say, think for yourself.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. So vile even TV Tropes doesn't have a page on it.
That's probably for the best.
At EdStevens5542 sent a super chat. And the thing that started this was her wanting to put makeup on.
Yeah, right, like, it's like, oh, she got a makeover and now, like, everybody wants to rape her. That's the plot.
At Hurtworks sent a super chat. This is your brain on this crowd's media literacy.
I know, right? Yeah, just because you really, really want to tell everybody how much you love this violent underage rape porn, and trying to excuse it by saying, no, guys, it's actually super deep, doesn't mean it's actually deep.
At Jehudi9910 sent a super chat. Sex negative, I'm getting really tired of hearing that word.
Yeah, Ant and his friends got really mad when I said the term sex positive is now as weaselly as the term pro-life. But it is. People say pro-life to indicate that people who disagree with them are anti-life. And people say sex negative to imply that people who have problem with, like, their weird kinks and their rape porn just hate sex in general, you know? And again, it's mostly wielded against women who raise sensible concerns about material. And I asked somebody else, I'm like, how is that any different than calling me a frigid bitch? Tell me.
At Replica_Rabbit send a super chat. Would Ant say the same to Obsession, if it was filmed like a corn?
I don't know, it's a good question. Again, he went after Alex Myers for his bad takes on Obsession. Meanwhile, he's saying underage rape porn is super deep and what more fan service should be like. And we're gonna see the full context when we watch through the video. So we'll see if the context can possibly save him.
At Eagle Irvine sent a super chat. Those people only read prawn slop, so of course they're starstruck that one has a skeleton of a plot.
I know, like, how good or brain do you have to fucking be?
At Veronic111 sent a super chat. Ant can't call himself a feminist after this.
Male feminists, man, every single fucking time.
At Vixen Blossom sent a super chat. Was that a video of 3 guys trying to give meaning to a gross adult manga? There's so many words YouTube won't let me say.
Yeah, 3 guys trying to give meaning to the manga while the author of it is sitting right there saying there is no meaning.
At the Sunny Leaf sent a super chat, and saying pushing individuals through harsher situations after pushing you under the bus is crazy. Boo.
Yeah, right.
Tomato emoji, tomato emoji, tomato emoji.
And as Garbo in chat is saying, how does this make him any different than Nux Taku in Chibi Reviews? Seriously, he went after Chibi Reviews. As well. Like, fucking hypocrite.
At Weak Freak sent a super chat. You're hurting my feelings. Give me my money back.
I will pay you back in entertainment. I promise we're gonna do fun things next week, guys. I promise.
Savage for Life for an 8328 sent a super chat. Saying.
Well, at least we have memes. Memes can always save us.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. Have some knowledge. On the itch thing. They were trying to go after all NSFW stuff, the SP furry stuff.
I know they were, but he really downplays how much of that material was pretty reprehensible as well.
At Hikaru9624 sent a super chat. Scotland is a very sex-positive country so long as it's consensual and that all parties are of age. That manga ain't ant. I trained 0W Galisha sent a super chat, and, the ultimate Gabagooner.
Gabagooner.
At the Sunny Leaf sent a super chat. I heard you LIKEM young.
Yeah. Sorry, Dreamy Nap. I mean, I was a little frank about my summary of the plot, but, like, you kind of have to be to really impart on people just how fucking bad it is and how much it is just meant to be fucking porn. There's no, like, oh, this is totally deeper in some way. No, it's just wall-to-wall rape scenes. That's all there is.
At Pyro7693 sent a super chat. Every time I think it was wrong to leave him.
No, no, Ant thrown me under the bus. and disassociating with me benefited me in the long run. I do not want to, like, him and Krim are on Blue Sky right now saying, oh, Sai's just mad we don't want to be friends anymore. Why the fuck would I want to be friends with the two of you ever again? Like, holy shit.
And Megan Zales 4130 sent a super chat. Anthony might be a Deuteronician.
He has to go vegan first.
At Super Brownie 247 sent a super chat. I'm a lady that loves dark, corny emoji, but this is too gross and depressing.
Yeah, there's difference between dark and just fetishizing a 15-year-old girl being raped into being a prostitute. Yeah.
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. Latex. Question for Ant. How is Metamorphosis any different than Lork's Stockholm?
Maybe he actually thinks Stockholm is super deep and dark. You know, he also covered Shadiversity's book. You know, the book where the Conqueror gets to relive life as a young man, and during his time as a Conqueror, he was, like, mass raping underage girls. And a lot of those girls grew up and thanked him for getting them pregnant. Did he understand what was wrong with that? If he actually liked Shadiversity, like, if you liked his politics and his personality, would you say his book was, like, just super dark and meaningful because a bunch of rape happens? Like, did you actually understand what was wrong with that book, Anthony? How is that part of his book any different than this? How is it different than Stockholm? Though we have seen Anthony deny that he thinks Lily Orchard is a pedophile, even though she wrote sex scenes about 10-year-old girls. So, interesting. So why isn't Stockholm deep and meaningful? And why isn't Shadiversity's book deep and meaningful, but this fucking rape porn is?
At the Jennyfish sent a super chat. Where are we at? Tax.
We're gonna watch the whole video next. I'm done with the main drama bit that everyone was here for.
Pyro7693 sent a super chat. Playing Dr. G Tax. Rock and Stone.
I think I'm gonna have to wind down by playing No Man's Sky later, man.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. Speaking of Emma, the fact trolling posted an upskirt of a trans woman is mega disgusting considering what happened to her when she was turned 18.
I have not heard about
Clyde
that.
Albin sent a super chat. A court of law might need more evidence. I am not a court of law. How anyone respects this man is beyond me, and I cannot respect anyone who does. There is no redeeming this after everything else.
Huh?
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. Thinking rape porn of underage girls is bad equals sex negative now? I hate it here.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically calling me a frigid bitch for saying, that is just rape porn of an underage girl with no deeper meaning. And him just saying, no, it's super deep, you're just sex negative. Is rape sex now, Anthony? I mean...
At Mr. DeBossBaby6969 send a super chat. I'm running a Deadpool on Ant's merch.
Now, let's not get too personal, guys.
At the _space frog sent a super chat. Same. Glad Krim kicked me to the curb these days.
Krim was fucking awful to you, but that's a story for another day.
At Espionata5011 sent a super chat. My issue with Krim that he was too far left me. He doesn't believe in prisons, which is scary.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not even, like, progressive. That's just retarded.
At the _space frog sent a super chat. I mean, my brain power washed, now skeptical.
Yeah. Again, you'll just have to trust me on the content if you don't want to look at it yourself. But if you can trust me, then trust me that it's just porn and nothing else. Oh, I think we might be done with the supers. Oh, I think we are. So now we can move on to Anthony's video. Won't that be fun? I think he has music in this, so I'll turn off mine. He was saying I'll get demonetized if I play this video because of a song he has in it. So make sure everybody sends me super chats to make up for it, I guess. Let me just put away my music thingy. It always like, what the hell has happened? Why did it stop capturing now? Oh no, I hit the wrong button, that's why. Damn it! I did the thing I was trying to avoid. Oh well. It changes the tags, what am I trying to say? The timestamps on me. Alright, so, Berserk is a little iffy to you? Yeah, there's plenty of iffy stuff in Berserk. Like, again, this is sort of a, you can admit when art you like has problematic things in it, and you can still like and respect that work, and it's not a judgment on you as a person? Like, that is sensible. Like, Berserk has some very questionable things in it that are just kind of put there for sus reasons, you know, so, and you can say that, and you can criticize it for that, you know, but, like, I'm not gonna say anybody who likes Berserk is, like, a freak, you know? It's perfectly fine to admit when things you like have problematic elements, like, that's not what we're here for, but he's just talking about a straight-up pornography of an underage girl being raped violently, repeatedly.
_ sent a super chat. I am adult content being made with actual adult characters and having bare minimum warnings for darker things for everyone's safety positive. At Jessale sent a super chat. Boo. I have to leave now. Good luck, chat, and you
What a
choose
stream to
side.
do this on.
I guess.
I'll do the older lady anime voice for money.
At Lillian Lee Quarries sent a super chat. Having lines not to cross doesn't make you a sex neg.
I know, again, it's just now being used by supposedly progressive people to shame women now for, you know, raising concerns about misogynistic pornography.
At Dutch Tunokit Official sent a super chat. Cat tax have to give cats ear flushes now.
Oh.
Upside down face emoji.
Have fun with that. Don't get
At Big
scratched.
Speech sent a super chat. Still remember Krim listing kids/teen boys on his gay gex can fix him in his live stream, and Ant was there not questioning it.
Yeah, see, at first with Ant and Krim, I'd be like, well, you know, this is how anime when we grew up kind of was. So, they're still stuck in that mentality, and like, again, you can admit things you like have problematic elements, it's fine, but all this compacted with SkittyBitty and them being inappropriate with 13-year-olds and the Birdman sweeping for a teen groomer while appointing teens moderators and Crimes New Roman having lolly feet pics all over his videos and Otterly Noah financially extorting a 16-year-old. It's, I'm not liking the picture that's being painted here amongst their group of colleagues. Okay, I think that was the last one again. So I'm gonna pause Supers, and we're gonna start watching his old video. And, we'll go from there, because I haven't actually seen the whole thing. I just happened to see that one clip. I like to react to things blind. So, in the spirit of my usual streaming style, we're doing that. Somebody... Oh yeah, there's one more thing people wanted me to show you guys. No, I got a better version, actually. Somebody just pinged me in my Discord. We were having a little fun with this image while we were talking about this last night, and I made an addition to it. So you guys can, I'll keep that on screen for anyone who wants to nab it as a meme. There you go. I think one of my fans said they were gonna post it in Diorio's server later. So let's see what Anthony had to say about Fanservice 2 years ago. We're probably not gonna watch his second video, so let's just investigate.
When I was a kid, I went to my local library and found Love Hina in the teen section. As someone who at that time mainly knew anime through Toonami, I flipped through it and had my mind blown. I found Love Hina at the right time, you know, young teen.
You got his mind blown by Love Hina, guys. Not even Tenshi Muyo, really?
Confused hormones, mid-2000s.
My first manga was Ranma 1/2, by the way.
Anyone else remember that Newgrounds Love Hina Flash game, the really inappropriate dating sim? That was my stuff at the time. That's what I was growing up with. But when I went online to talk...
So you were introduced to porn far too early, is what you're telling me.
Love Hina on forums, you know, back on Guy Online and all that kind of stuff. I found people going, oh, you think that's great? Watch Legend of the Overfiend or La Blue Girl, and then get back to me. And so I did, and Love Hina felt very tame by comparison.
So you are just telling us that you were introduced to pornography far too early, and it's damaged your brain, okay.
Obviously, fan service is different from overt hentai, but even then, it feels like fan service is different now. It used to be you had to pick up Street Fighter 2 the movie to see some fan service, but now every anime just seems to have fan service in it. And it seems...
Where the fuck have you been? That's been a lot of stuff, but yeah, if you watch Seasonal Slop now, you know what happened? Is they started making raunchier and raunchier softcore porn that they could get away with on television, so that they can then sell overpriced Blu-rays to a bunch of, like, perverted otaku. That's why this started happening. It just became degenerate to make money.
At once excessive and conservative. And when I say conservative, I don't mean Republican. I mean conservative in that they tease a lot, but always hold back on true intimacy. They won't show you what hasn't been.
You think ogling scantily clad women is supposed to be intimate?
Tested. Modern fan service stopped feeling dangerous. It feels predictable. Back in the day, when you picked up an uncensored VHS of an anime, it was a real mystery, like, what didn't they censor? You'd watch it in a dark room when your parents fell asleep, kind of nervous you'd be caught. I remember the first time I watched Wicked City, that movie felt dangerous. Like you'd see some mind-melting stuff and not know what to expect next, and genuinely, you didn't know what to expect next.
So he never grew out of this 16-year-old mentality of, ooh, I'm watching something dark and grown-up, I'm not supposed to. Like, bro, you're in your 30s now.
But now, every fan service show that comes out feels samey. Each season, a show ends, and next month, its replacement comes.
Brother, there was plenty of slop in the 80s and 90s, just most of it has gone down the memory hole.
That's not to say you won't get exceptional stuff every year, but the bulk of titles feel identical. You just get this deluge of titles where you go and you watch it and you just say,
I Love Hina is not about college girls. The main girl is 17 and the main boy is about 22? If I recall correctly, there's another underage character in that harem as well.
Wait, didn't I see this show last month? I think fan service is an easy thing to point out and go, yeah, I've seen this before. Because it is so cyclical and repetitive.
Yeah, it's made to sell Blu-rays to gooners.
The stuff that stands out only stands out because of how outrageous it is. But even then, you can expect a show in a few seasons.
Wasn't that the one about somebody's little sister being into little sister incest porn? That's cool, Anthony.
That same thing that shocked you, only more commercialized. And I want to talk about it because I feel like it reflects a bigger issue in storytelling. The phrase sex sells dates back to the early days of cinema. 1 million years BC was a film featuring dinosaurs attacking each other, but all the posters have the now iconic Raquel Welch bikini in it.
Okay, so his videos have always been this
unfocused. A scene where an Allosaurus and a Triceratops fight isn't enough to sell a blockbuster. As far as I can tell, fan service really started to kick off in the anime medium back in the early 70s. Go Nagai, one of the greatest manga creators of all time, he created titles like Mazinger Z and Devilman, but 1973's Cutie Honey, one of anime's first magical girl series, drew a large audience thanks to its kick-ass female...
Everything Go Nagai draws is goonery. Like, what is your point?
...lead and some
Sure, we could put it on 2x speed. He is kind of slow, isn't he? We'll put it on 1.25. I have trouble if it goes too fast.
Though for the time, more sensual imagery throughout. Honey Kisaragi, the main protagonist of Cutie Honey, is an android who has the ability to create matter from thin air. Well, let's ignore the fact that air is made of matter for a second and just move on. So she uses this physics-breaking ability to either transform into a magical girl with a superhero sword or a bunch of different disguises. A clear precursor to the modern magical girl. I think Sailor Moon even has that little brooch she can use to disguise herself in the first season of Sailor Moon, but never uses it after the point, but I digress. The outfit changing allows Go Nagai to draw his protagonist in plenty of, well, you have eyes, just look at it. Daikon 4, the short that put Studio Gainax on the map, is one of the first to highlight what some older otaku may call the Gainax bounce. This would continue into projects like Gunbuster.
Yeah, it started the whole fucking company, Anthony! Of course! It would lay the groundwork for what Gainax became! Oh, God.
Has both some of the most shameless fan service of the 80s and a better, more tragic use of time dilation than Interstellar. Yeah, I said it, Nolan, but I think in the mid-80s we saw a significant diversion. We had hentai series like Cream Lemon, Dream Hunter Ren, Legend of the Overfiend, etc. push sexualization in animation to the limit of the censorship system. And we had more mainstream material that wanted to tease sex without ever going all out.
So you're comparing porn to a rom-com. Imagine if you did this with live-action stuff. You know, like, oh, you have more tame stuff like Sucker Punch, and then there's, like, Barely Legal Cum Sluts 9, which we can compare it to. I said this on Blue Sky, too. I was like, him saying, like, Metamorphosis is what he wants anime fan service to be like, would be like somebody saying Lolita is what they want more erotic fiction to be like. You know?
hentai chose to explore,
in the further regions of experience.
while fanservice just began to recycle things that Gainax had perfected years earlier. And if anything, with each iteration, it got more boring.
Who are you and why are you defending him? Are you riding his balloony pony?
Fanservice-heavy anime tend to follow similar tropes. If you pick up a modern harem anime, you're pretty much expecting to see the same stock characters you'd see in, say, Love Hina 20 years prior. Whenever a type of fanservice anime gets popular,
because it's a
duplicates
samey
will
genre.
come to copy its success. Sword Art Online's harem subplot, it gets popular.
It's made for men who don't like women having more than one personality trait. That's what a harem is.
Now, every isekai anime will have a harem. That one sus humiliation manga is popular. Well, now I can get a million manga about bullying. And you know what? I get it. Sometimes following the leader results in some great material. If everyone didn't jump into the isekai bandwagon after...
Or Gooner slop is just repetitive and boring because Gooners are boring fucking people.
Sword Art Online, we'd never get Konosuba. And Konosuba only works because it parodies the now familiar tropes of isekai, while also adding memorable characters that
honestly, Gooners will buy anything.
You wish to defile me, don't you?
What? But for a lot of the modern fan service out there, it's not parodying, it's not satirizing, it's not adding, it's just copying. And I find that boring. And my reasoning being is that it's safe.
I've gooned so much, I'm finding this goon slop too boring. Now I need to say that everything should be like the rape porn manga Metamorphosis.
It follows formulas that you have seen 100 times a season. It doesn't
she really likes Dress Up Darling, again, where the characters are underage.
It doesn't stray from the formula enough to be interesting, and it's especially true for harem anime. For the purposes of this video, I went on my anime list and broke down the list of 2023 anime labeled under harem. Of the 15 harem anime released in 2023, 6 took place at a school, 7 were either isekai or reincarnation stories, and only 2 featured adult characters, and one of them was rented.
What does that tell you, Anthony? Does it tell you that perhaps Japan has a bit of a pedophilia problem? Like, does that not cross your mind? Is it because it's anime? The characters don't look like real people, so you have that disconnect? You know, but it still reflects and reinforces real-life attitudes.
To Girlfriend Season 3. Of all of them, the one that stands out to me is the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, both for its outrageous premise that a boy is blessed with 100 soulmates in high school, and the surprising...
You mean that it's just a fucking male fantasy that a girl will just be in love with you and be devoted to you and never have any problems and never have any emotions of her own that you need to, like, manage? Yeah, it's just a fucking male fantasy.
Character dynamic between all of them. I feel the most successful fanservice anime are the ones that tell really good stories first, and show fanservice second.
I would barely call Tenchi Muyo a fanservice anime. I'd call something a fanservice anime if it's just wall-to-wall jiggling boobs. Tenchi Muyo is an anime that has some fanservice in it. Tenchi Muyo is the prototypical harem, and it's still the best one. Because the girls in it are not only adults, but they actually have personalities.
The universe needs a new champion. Tenchi needs some peace and quiet.
I know, hot take. Good storytelling is good. Chobits balances out its sci-fi premise of a future where everyone has a personal computer. Wait, hold on a second, that's not a fantasy. With the premise of a lonely pre-college student being stuck with a cute girl who idolizes him. Yeah,
Chobits is just boring.
Chobits centers on hapless loser Hideki, a poor guy who just wants to get into college. He can't afford a Persicom, a personal computer / cute android that everyone seems to have. So it's a miracle when he just finds a custom-built one in the trash. Add to that, she doesn't function like...
One of the first jokes is, ha ha ha, the on switch for her is in her vagina. But other than that, Chobits is actually pretty fucking tame.
Persicoms. She's infantile in some ways. She seemingly has no...
In some ways, she can't even fucking talk. It's like Elfen Lied, which I think he also brings up, where the appeal is this grown-ass woman has the brain of a baby.
No data, and might be tied up with a series of Persicoms told about in rumors, the Chobits. The series focuses on Hideki teaching
how
to function in society,
it is.
while also coming to realize he might have feelings for an android.
I'll
but as
take
everyone in the show points
Tsubasa
out,
over this
androids
shit.
can't really love. They're just programmed to react to inputs. Except she seems to have more self-awareness than other Persicoms, and it's clearly making her feel isolated. Chobits balances out sex humor and hijinks with existentialism and pursuit of identity in an increasingly digital...
Existentialism, it just ends, oh, we did a firmware upgrade, and now all the androids can feel love. Hooray! What existentialism? This is the anime where the robot is walking down the street going, panties, 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 because he sent her off to buy panties for herself. It's not deep!
World, where human traits become collateral exchanged between isolated, lonely individuals. Despite starting breezy and light with
someone on Lady Logan on Twitch points out Chobits literally falls into the born sexy yesterday trope. Yeah.
Very overt fan service. We see a real darkness to this world, one that isolates and deeply traumatizes its characters. Now, when I was reading and watching Chobits, my local library had a second manga that they recommended alongside Chobits, Deers. And they have a lot in common.
Why did you so read or die and then go right to Deers?
A year after Chobits. Both were made by critically acclaimed manga teams that got their start in Dojin, Clamp, and Peach Pit, respectively. Deers is about aliens that crash land on Earth and become dear friends to humanity, essentially serving them in a way that seems a lot like how Persicom serve people, except the aliens.
Yeah, don't you love when you have a childlike woman just living to serve you? Yeah, it's good.
Aliens are sentient and not programmed robots, but again, what are you gonna do? Our protagonist, Takeya, discovers a Deers that's just lying on the side of the road. He takes her in. She's this kind of infantile, kind of dependent character. Her name is Ren, and as Ren learns more about society, she grows closer to Takeya. Okay, listen, yeah, Ren is Chi. The same character. It's the same premise, just with aliens. Androids have pre-programmed...
Yes, it's the same, again, it's the same presence of a woman with the mind of a baby who just lives to serve you. And she's also sexually appealing, and maybe you can fuck her.
Reactions. Aliens are living people. Having them occupy the same niche in society is a little strange, don't you think? But again, what are you gonna do? And I feel like at this time I should mention Elfen Lied, since both it and Chobits start.
We're gonna take some supers before we talk about Elfen Lied, because I have seen all of Elfen Lied, and then I hate read the entire manga. So I can be very confident in saying, I hate Elfen Lied!
Edrito Skywaker sent a super chat. There goes my remaining respect for Ant. Person face-bombing emoji.
Well, it's a bit of the point of this stream, isn't it?
At Pyro7693 sent a super chat. The double standard is strong with this one.
I know, again, he went after Alex Myers for less.
At Danny_Strava sent a super chat. Hey, did you ever see the meme I sent you DMs?
I'm not sure. I get a lot of DMs, I'm sorry.
At Sonic Vegeta sent a super chat. Shit like this made me start thinking about a 18+ story that actually does try to be deep and addresses a lot of the abuse that happens without making the problematic stuff be smexy by showing the difference from these things.
I mean, there is like a cheesecake semi-harem manga I like called Ninja Girls. So again, I'm not sex negative, but again, the women in that manga have actual personalities, and actually so does the main guy. It's pretty refreshing.
At DireWolf181 sent a super chat. Make me look time and I love gay furry. Corn emoji. V ends. At Hurtworks sent a super chat. Why the hell are you wistfully nostalgic for smut?
I don't know, he's like, I read Love Hina when I was like 12 and it blew my mind.
At the Jennyfish sent a super chat. $2 says he doesn't know 100 GFS.
Well, I mean, he mentioned it, but...
At Miss Jasmine305 sent a super chat. Maybe the reason he finds fan service boring is cause he watches too much of it? Yeah, it's same way, but that's cause it's popular / easy to replicate.
Or he's just growing out of it and can't understand why, cause he thinks it's an essential part of anime.
At Bunny in a Circle sent a super chat. Our late demonetization tax refund ara.
There you go.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. I like Dress Up Darling. Its main ship is cute.
The main girl is still underage and they're always like focusing on her ass.
At Clyde Alburn sent a super chat. I really don't like how Ant emphasizes infantile.
Yeah, don't you love this anime about an infantile woman who just lives to serve you while she's naked besides all but a maid robe? Yeah.
At SuperBrownie247 sent a super chat. I used to watch a lot of harem anime when I was a kid. That's how I figured out I like women and am bi. But, as an adult I can't sit through them. It's all the same girls fawning over a generic man with no personality.
Yeah, right?
At
That's
Mr. The Boss Baby 6969 sent a super chat. Being a man tax, I was charged more because of Ant.
I see.
At Hespionata5011 sent a super chat. I have watched Elfen Lied and read the entire manga and it's so bad.
It's bad, and it is fetish shit. It just is fetish shit, it is.
At JustTagGhostandTheSea sent a super chat. I think Ant just likes Sichi but wants to justify it intellectually.
Yes, and he has to convince us that it's super deep, and he has super deep progressive reasons for liking it when he doesn't, because there are none.
Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. If Ann thinks Metamorphosis is so deep, does that mean he also thinks Boku no Pico is just about young gay boys figuring out their sexuality?
I don't know, maybe somebody should ask him
sent
that.
A super chat. And it sounds like you are no longer a teenager attracted to other teenagers. Why are you presenting this as a bad thing?
Yeah, because a lot of anime with fan service is aimed at the teen audience. So it's like, yeah, they're looting teenagers, though the guys who make these things seem to enjoy doing that, and that's something we could possibly scrutinize and criticize, don't you think? Like, I get it. I get, like, conservatives in the 90s would fearmonger about anime, but you can't deny that it has a lot of these problems. So anyway, let's see what he has to say about Elfen Lied.
Our infantile protagonists with little triangles sticking out of their heads who become dependent on the main character, and fanservice-y hijinks ensue.
Yeah, so
though Elfen Lied at least
girls
is memorable because of the sheer chapter-to-chapter whiplash between typical harem antics and extreme violence.
Oh, something's meant to be sexually appealing and have thrilling violence? You don't say.
Actually, oh crap, it's been 20 years since Elfen Lied came out. Tell me if you want me to make a video about Elfen Lied in the comments. I would do it if you ask. But yeah, Chobits is first and foremost a sci-fi story with fanservice in it. Elfen Lied is...
I mean, if you don't know, Elfen Lied is just lollyguro fetish. It's just young cat girl looking girls getting dismembered. That's what Elfen Lied is. I guess he doesn't mention it again, so I'll talk about it a bit. The manga's worse. The serial killer harem is, as I call it, is expanded in the manga. So in the anime, the harem consists of the killer cat girl who has brain damage and acts like a baby to the point that she pees on the floor. The lolly killer cat girl who gets all of her arms and legs torn off. The guy's cousin, a young girl who was being raped by her stepfather and ran away from home. And in the manga, there's the addition of a college-age girl who wets herself due to stress and has to wear diapers. That's Elfen Lied, yeah. So, I was very angry when people told me, oh, it's so deep and dark, you should watch it. And it's just misery porn. and cat girls getting dismembered.
Is a horror story, Frankenstein with a harem story. And Deers is just sort of a fanservice anime with sci-fi elements stitched on that aren't really well thought out. I feel like this offers a good hierarchy of what I like. The more fanservice feels like a spice rather than the main course, the better I think it does. It helps to elevate a plot rather than become the plot.
The only thing good that came out of Elfen Lied is it inspired the plot point in Stranger Things where Eleven was kept in isolation and made to call the director Papa. That's a thing with the cat girls. The director makes all of them call him Papa. It's a lot creepier in Elfen Lied than it is Stranger Things. In Stranger Things, it's as fucked up as it should be. In Elfen Lied, it's just more fetishization.
Plot, rather than become the plot.
Alright then, now one last time. Tell me, what are you going to be saying to the sales clerk?
Underpants, thank you, please.
I reviewed an anime called Ayori
That's
Aoshi
the
on its
part I was
20th
talking about where
anniversary
she
a
just
little while
walks down the street going, panty, 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 panty.
back. Kaoru is the heir of the Hanabishi Zaibatsu, a major conglomerate. He was set to marry Aoi Sakuraba, the only daughter of the Sakuraba department store chain.
I don't think
but
I've
Kaoru
seen this
ran away from home
one,
because,
so-
frankly, his family is just the worst. However, Aoi has harbored a deep love for Kaoru, and years later, reconnects to rekindle their romance.
For 18 years, I've been waiting patiently for this moment.
Kaoru refuses to return to his family, so their romance would cause a massive scandal if it came to light. So Aoi and her family come up with a solution. Aoi and her caretaker, Miyabi, have this big summer mansion. They hire Kaoru as a live-in servant there, so they can be together in secret without anyone looking too closely into it. However, because Kaoru is secretly with Aoi, that makes him seemingly fair game to the harem that materializes around him.
I was about to say, this seems like a rom-com, but of course, now it's a harem, and a lot of these, look at the schoolgirl uniform, a lot of them look underaged, hooray!
I want to compare this quickly with Love Hina, because both came out around the same time. Revisiting Ayori Aoshi, I expected to be really critical of it. But I found myself really admiring the show still. Did it have flaws? Certainly, especially with the character Tina, who at times skirts the line of the predatory bisexual stereotype, but despite the issues,
Oh, then things are a problem. Oh, she's a predatory bisexual. I find that very problematic. Anyway, I want more fan service to be like this underage rape porn. This is what you find problematic, though. A chick grabbing other chick's boobs without permission. So a chick grabbing another chick's boobs without permission, you realize that's predatory, and you have a problem with that because it makes a bisexual character look predatory. If she's even actually bisexual, it's anime, I really doubt it. But that's problematic. But non-stop rape porn of a 15-year-old is dark and meaningful and what you want more anime fan service to be like. I see.
Bisexual stereotype, but despite the issues, I actually really like this one, and I think that's because, again, this is a romance series with elements of fan service sprinkled in.
He doesn't seem to understand there is a difference between a show that is just there to facilitate fan service and a show that just happens to have fan service in it. And again, we're defining, when it comes to anime, we're defining fan service as titillation.
I am not perfect, but I hope you will learn to accept me.
There's one reoccurring quote-unquote joke where Aoi wants to bathe with Kaoru. Specifically, she wants to wash his back. But Kaoru refuses to let her. And the first time this happens, it's played for laughs. We later learn that Kaoru's awkwardness is because he doesn't want Aoi to see all the scars he's accumulated thanks to his abusive family. It really forces you to reappraise the earlier jokes.
Why have we spent so much time on this particular series?
New context. Yes, there's sexual fan service, but there's a lot of tragedy at play here. Compare this to Love Hina, a show where the central conflict barely feeds into the plot on an episode-by-episode basis. Love Hina's main conflict is
almost like it's just there to facilitate the harem, and again, there's a 17-year-old and a much younger one in that harem. This one I also think is underage. I mean, she's in a middle school girl uniform.
At first, is getting loser Keitaro into Tokyo University. Things complicate when
good chroma keying there, Anthony.
ends up becoming the manager of an all-girls dorm, filled with characters with their own unique quirks and hijinks. And he wants to get into Tokyo U because he and a childhood friend promised one another they'd get in.
Yes, he wants to get into Tokyo U. He is not yet in college. She's 17, he's in his 20s, so just remember
all of these
that.
conflicts. Getting into Tokyo U.
And again, this one's in a middle school girl uniform. She's tan and acts crazy because she's from the Ryukyu Islands, I think. And then this one's also underage. I don't think he has any interest in her, but still. I mean, the other point of the harem is for the reader to pick their favorite girl, beyond the main girl, of course. And two of them are underage.
Friend, managing the dorm.
Yes, god damn it, Japan.
Which is disappointing, because there's a lot of meat to the story. And we're getting force-fed seasoning. It doesn't help when you compare the two. You see immediately that Ai Yoriaoshi focuses on how the bonds people share can help you recover from trauma, while Love Hina is fixated on traumatizing Keitaro. Seriously,
the normalization of male abuse. So, her, like, comedically and cartoonishly throwing this guy into the stratosphere and, like, cartoonishly kicking him in the face is the normalization of male abuse. But a rape porn comic about a 15-year-old girl getting raped and groomed into prostitution is certainly not the normalization of female abuse, and is something Anthony wants to see more in fan service. Stunning. Absolutely. He's gotta say that in the same video. Absolutely stunning.
Naru is a complete monster. People compare her to earlier tsundere like Akane from Ranma 1/2 or Asuka from Evangelion, but they miss
They're the exact same bit. They're all the exact same character archetype. What are you talking about?
Point. When Akane hits Ranma, Ranma can handle it. They're both martial artists. They communicate through violence. Asuka is a deeply traumatized young girl. You know what? Let's put a pin in this for right now.
Asuka's traumatized, so it's okay that she hits people in this more realistic, grounded series. Whereas Love Hina is a fucking comedy. A harem comedy.
Let's put Asuka aside. We'll get back to her later. I guarantee you. Don't worry. We'll get back to Asuka. But Naru, she's just
in Love Hina, it's completely cartoony when she hits the guy. And he's saying that's the normalization of male abuse, but all this media about sexually brutalizing young girls and women that he loves, that couldn't possibly be normalizing female abuse. Never mind that Japan has a real-life crime case in the 80s of a 16-year-old girl being kidnapped and tortured and raped for 44 days until she was murdered. And that case still echoes through their culture and their cultural memory. And you see a lot of that sort of thing reflected in fucking hentai manga. And that is something we can discuss, I think.
It's a jerk. I don't want to see Kitaro end up with her because she's so violent towards him. The other thing is that Ai Yoriauchi...
No, he doesn't like the main girl in Love Hina, even though she's the destined love interest because she's the fucking main girl.
...has a harem, but we know Aoi and Kaoru are going to end up together. The conflict comes from...
You gotta love that, though. It's like, it's okay if Akane hits Ranma because they're both martial artists. It's okay if Asuka hits Shinji because she's traumatized, but Naru, like, comedically throwing the main guy into the stratosphere when he sees her boobs by accident. That's a display of abuse against males. What the fuck are your, like... How does he go up with this stuff?
Other people entering their life, not knowing the romance, and kind of impeding on their romance in some way. Unintentionally. Every character is likable because they're not trying to force themselves on Kaoru. They just think he's a guy and they like him. Whereas with Love Hina, we can figure out who the childhood friend is very quickly. And it's all just spinning the wheels until they tell us what we already know. Well, I keep using 20-year-old...
Well, no shit. It's a fucking harem rom-com. They're gonna keep the main couple apart until the end. Damn it, Anthony. I read Oh My Goddess. You know how slow that burn is? 10 fucking years!
Anime as a reference point. We need a more modern example. We gotta be relevant on YouTube nowadays. My dress-up...
Wait, were you talking shit about Lena Inverse? Hang on a second. What was that?
Well, they tell us what we already know. Well, I keep using 20-year-old anime as a reference point. We need a more modern example.
Very old anime back then, anime now. Oh, okay. So 60s, 80s, 90s now. Alright.
Example. We gotta be relevant on YouTube nowadays. My dress-up darling. Premise? High schooler Wakana Gojo is an introverted boy, possibly autistic, I think, who loves making Hina dolls. And this draws the attention of Marin, an energetic classmate of his who has an unfulfilled passion for cosplaying.
He has a classmate in high school, and how old is she, Anthony? I believe she's 16 or 17?
Marin asks Wakana to help design costumes for her, based on her favorite games and anime. The two seem like polar opposites, drawn together by a mutual passion, and soon, they genuinely
I was talking about this year's my Discord, I'm like, why couldn't these two just meet in college? Like, would it be so hard? Oh, she's 15! She's 15, and we see close-ups of her ass in skimpy outfits. Another 15-year-old, Anthony, wow! Again, the story would not change one iota if they were both 20. That's why sometimes it's just like, God damn it, Japan.
Start to care for one another, resulting in what at first
I mean, it's a very cute premise, but why are they teenagers?
Before blossoming into a romance. While the show excels at letting its lovable, socially awkward leads be cute together, it possibly wouldn't have drawn as huge an audience without some strategic fan service in the first episode. And again, it's spice, not the main course.
15 years old, guys! 15 years old! And we're getting shots of her like that. I'm sure he would tell us that this is very deep and meaningful.
The main course is the friendship that blossoms into a romance, as well as the beautiful costumes that Marin wears. But more focus is put into the sheer joy Marin feels wearing these costumes than how Marin necessarily looks in them. The show also really does something I think is surprisingly uncommon in these fanservice shows, exploring the intricacies of an intimate sexual relationship.
What was that on the guy's shirt? Why is he wearing a Hago face? So this is what the girl in Metamorphosis looks like the entire time she's being raped, by the way. So, yeah.
Intimate sexual relationship.
It just sounds like Slippery Girls might be like an adult game.
Yeah, that's what eroge means.
My dress-up darling really threads the needle on this one, especially because of the healthy dose of social awkwardness mixed in with these two characters. They're clumsy, goofy, insecure, hesitant, and it's on full display. And that manages to add both conflict to the story and realism.
And there's like 17 and 15, Anthony. Why are you so into this?
Which manages to make the show feel both more interesting and more sincere. And when I say sexual relationships, I don't mean actually having sex. I don't mean nudity. I don't mean intercourse. I mean the awkwardness of exploring that kind of relationship with someone else. That's very difficult to do right. It can easily become either exploitative.
Cool, why couldn't they have been adults for this?
Or cheesy.
I guess I'm just surprised that girls even play games like that, much less enjoy them.
Oh, please, of course we do.
But you know what? Enough of this vanilla garbage. Let's get interesting. Let's get outrageous. Mysterious Girlfriend X is a litmus test.
Please don't. No, oh, it's a litmus test, is it? I've never read it. I've heard a lot about this one. It's really weird. So let's see what he says.
Outrageous. Mysterious Girlfriend X is a litmus test for how weird you can handle a fanservice manga, and how tame so much modern fanservice is. I mean, I love My Dress-Up Darling. It's a sincere romance, it's beautiful, two socially awkward characters. But Mysterious Girlfriend X, let's just say it's a slurpy premise. I'm saying they drink drool. It is the spit-drinking manga. If they are 50 fans...
and they're both also underaged, Anthony.
...service shows out there that are pulling the same tricks as Love Hina, there is one
again,
that tries to be really and then that inspires...
Oh boy, let us remind ourselves that, Anthony recently was in SkittyBitty's cancellation videos of Octorok, where they were both trying to paint Octorok as a pedophile for having lewd art of what may possibly be a 17-year-old character, but no one is really sure. And here Anthony is gushing over all of these fanservice shows starring underage teenagers. So why were you so confident calling Octorok a pedophile when you are raptly into these things?
Inspires imitators, but I don't think Mysterious Girlfriend X has inspired all that many imitators. It's kind of niche. But one that did inspire imitators? Oremo.
Ah yeah, this is the one about the younger sister who's into younger sister incest porn. Isn't that wacky?
Yeah, seriously, after Oremo, how many little sister mangas and anime and light novels came out? How many of them were made by the same guy? Oremo...
Dude, how... Like, it's a genre for perverted freaks. Again, Japan has a really big pedophilia problem in its media.
Oremo and Eromanga Sensei are both light novels turned anime that start with some promise, some good ideas. They are some genuinely interesting...
Good ideas! A guy's younger sister being into younger sister porn. And she's like, what, 14 or something?
Interpersonal conflicts at play here. But it doubles down on the trash factor, hard and fast. And, here's the wild thing. I don't hate these shows. FBI, open up! They're so trashy that their awfulness implodes upon itself, creating a black hole of quality that one...
I like them ironically, guys, but I'm about to say that a rape porn manga about a 15-year-old girl is what fanservice should be like. But I totally only like these things unironically, guys. It's either they're deep or, oh no, I just like, they're so bad they're good, guys. Can
only bask and stare at and marvel at. It is a self-sustaining dumpster fire. I would never say any of these shows are good, but they are memorable. And that's something that so many of these other disposable copies can't claim. With fanservice, you have unlimited potential. Keijo is a sports anime that centers on women knocking each other over using their hips and butts. It turns fanservice into a tournament arc.
So at least I looked this up. These girls are at least in their 20s. So yes, it's just a stupid fanservice show. There's some... I know it's in the Yakuza games, too. There's some weird thing about women fighting by smashing their butts together in Japan. I don't know.
The thing with these shows is that the premise and fanservice, or fan disservice in the case of Mysterious Girlfriend X, has to tie into the plot. It ties in with Mysterious Girlfriend X. It's a romance story about these two weirdos. Keijo is a tournament arc, or Rainbow.
Oh, Yondev loves Keijo.
High School of the Dead, however, has some ridiculous fanservice, and none of it.
Now, see, one thing I'll say about High School of the Dead, at least it knows what it is. High School of the Dead knows exactly what it is and doesn't make any excuses for itself. And that's at least a little respectable.
It connects to what should be a dire
And yes,
plot.
this is the bullet time booby
and
anime.
Remember that
it's
scene where
that
the bullet
one.
travels between the one girl's...
I have seen High School of the Dead. It is too ridiculous to even get angry at. And it knows exactly what it is, and it doesn't even try to hide it, and it doesn't excuse itself, and no one in their right mind would call it deep.
...than anything else that happens in the show. One of the most infamous fanservice anime ever is Aiken. It's a 2-episode
Yeah, Aiken, and they're all underage girls with giant boobs, and it is like a softcore porn. So why the fuck are you talking about it?
A much longer manga. And it is so dull. It is so dull. It is a drag. Nothing happens. The premise is girls with massively bloated boobs. That's it. That's the gimmick. Just big boobs. It wears thin very fast.
Herbert!
I started getting into this with My Dress Up Darling, but a lot of fan service, despite being focused on big talent,
But I'm the one with the most talent here!
it feels strangely sexually conservative. The protagonists don't ever make a move on one another.
Okay, we're just talking about Oh My Goddess. This is Oh My Goddess. It is not a fan service series. It is a very slow burn, like, slice of life rom-com. There's especially after the early parts, there's hardly any fan service in Amigami-sama. It's very mild. And it is more of a romance story, and it is more about the day-to-day lives of Keiji and the goddesses. So it's very slice of life. I know, because I was into it, I read a lot of it!
They don't feel that uncomfortable urge
and also they're adults!
to engage with how that complicates relationships. They're just pining, they're staring, they're looking, they're oogling. But they don't engage with the complications of sexual relationships.
Well, almost like if you actually were doing, like, a deep exploration of sexual relationships, and that it's not fan service, Anthony, then it's part of the fucking plot. Fan service is cheesecake. Fan service is there to be titillating for the sake of being titillating. Like, you're talking about an actual serious plotline in Evangelion. Between Masato and her lover.
And that's something we didn't really see as much in older anime. Legendary anime director and Gundam creator Yoshiyuki Tomino has expressed dissatisfaction with the sexless nature of popular anime. When asked about Makoto Shinkai's films, Tomino said that Shinkai's work are often described as stories about a boy and a girl who are always stretching out their hands towards each other. And he then added, and yet the boy's hand never reaches the girl's crotch.
That's a quote. Oh, we have all this romance stuff, yet the boy is, like, never fingering her. Says this perverted old Japanese man. Very cool, Anthony.
Herbert!
To elaborate, Tomino continues, a lot of people could relate to the feelings of yearning depicted when these characters ask and are asked, what is your name? But even if the characters possess wholesome feelings of admiration, they don't take that step towards declaring love and touching the other's body. That pent-up, unresolved feeling is connected to Tokyo's submerged state. I was surprised that so many people could relate to a resolution like that, to the extent of pouring over 10 billion yen into the box office.
Yeah, the kids today aren't fucking enough! Like, really?
Tomino comes from a different era. Back in the 80s and 90s, anime like Ninja Scroll, Wicked City, Cyber City 0888, Violence Jack, Devilman did not hold back at all.
You wouldn't recognize.
Yeah, Ninja Scroll literally has a rape scene in it. I bet you really like that, Anthony.
As a goddamn vampire if one jumped up and bit you on the end of your fucking dick.
While there seemed to be more fan service content nowadays, all of it feels unremarkably tame compared to what we saw back in the 80s and 90s. And that's really underwhelming because you would think these stories would build on what came before, not regress. While these stories were exploitative, they told stories beyond the fan service, and often the fan service could be downright unpleasant. But now, it's relatively safe. It's not shocking. It's not controversial. You rarely see anything too extreme or mature, unless it's hentai. And I don't feel like making a video essay about Metamorphosis today. But Metamorphosis is kind of what I want to see more in fan service. Really shocking, really upsetting, unpleasant, disturbing, but meaningful.
He thinks it's, yep, so the context doesn't help him at all. A 15-year-old girl being raped and brutalized until she's a pregnant homeless prostitute with a spray tan is so meaningful, you guys. So now that we've seen the clip in context, let's have another round of super chats.
At Lillian Liquores sent a super chat. Jen question, would you consider something like Happy Sugar Life too far? I felt it did putting a mirror to what fans want well. But when it came out it was shunned a lot.
I don't know what that's a reference to,
sent
sorry.
a super chat. I've only seen the anime. I can't judge the manga.
Now, unfortunately, since we're doing this in groups, I'm not entirely sure what you're referring to at the moment.
At the underscore space frog sent a super chat. Still at 1.25x? Damn it, and work on your delivery.
I don't think he ever got better.
At Scoony the 2ND sent a super chat. I find this problematic because I identify as bisexual, so this can reflect badly on me. I hate how I'm beginning to understand how he thinks.
Well, we all know Anthony only takes issue with something if he can make it about him.
At Dino Nuggy 22 sent a super chat. I guess Ant can consider school days to be fan service. But that be a disservice to the show cause has more story and lessons than the animes he listed. At Danny_Strava send a super chat. And did you lose your brain cell somewhere?
I don't think he ever had it. He isn't talking about any fan service of men. Like, he doesn't talk about, like, free. He doesn't talk about BL manga or anything. No fan service regarding men in this whole video.
At Seong7578 sent a super chat. Recently got back into your streams to pass time driving to work. Glad to see my favorite lesbian art Dandy is still sane and awesome years later. Heart hands emoji.
Yay! Thank you.
At BlueBladerBot sent a super chat. Wait, I thought you liked Anthony? What's going on?
Oh, honey, no. He threw me under the bus around November, and there's been a little bit of a feud going on ever since, and now this happened, and yeah, I felt like broadcasting it to everyone.
At Miss Jasmine305 sent a super chat. Can we stop pretending that the main dude from Love Hina is a good character, Ant? He's annoying and whining.
Yeah, like, it was like, Love Hina was really popular back in the day, but I think it was, like, one of the only, like, decent anime we had get a official release over here as part of it.
Direwolf181 sent a super chat. I think I did hear about the Furata case on a vid.
Yeah, and it's like, you have to keep that in mind when people are, like, you know, talking about graphic rape hentai, because that's what a lot of people are drawing from.
At Savage for Life for an 8328 sent a super chat. Rest in peace to Junko Furuta. She deserved so much better and may all her tormentors rot.
Yeah, I hope people keep exposing their names in the media because they got off with a slap on the wrist.
At the Jennyfish sent a super chat. Where's the Senshi Panty SHT?
I think he does mention Dunmeshi, and he doesn't even mention Senshi's panty shots, which are based!
At Hespionata5011 sent a super chat. Shows like that is why I prefer shows like Witch Hat Atelier and Demons of the Shadow Realm. No fan service, just anime comedy reactions.
Yeah, it's like he watches like seasonal slop, and then stuff with fan service in it, and he thinks that's all anime ever.
At Hurtworks sent a super chat. I gotta make a rule for myself to never eat watching Psy streams anymore. Frowning face emoji. At Super Easy Walker sent a super chat. Ant is slowly becoming Quagmire. Anthony Giggity Giggity.
Oh, there's another name to add to the pile.
At S.T. 0PM0SS sent a super chat. Common, male feminist, opinions. Does he really defend Metamorphosis? In this band.
Yeah, we just saw the clip a second time.
Bot sent a super chat. The white Bowser is screaming watching this bullshit.
Ew.
At Miss Jasmine305 sent a super chat. That scene about Makoto's boobs isn't in the manga BTW. Ray's grandpa being a pervert for high school girls and Mamoru being 18-19 while Usagi is still 14 are also all changes the male creative team made to Sailor Moon.
Yeah, they take a woman's work and then they add stuff like that about teenage girls, isn't it lovely?
At Weak Freak sent a super chat. Where's the female and gay fan service? And?
I don't know. I mean, he mentioned he's bisexual because he hated the predatory bisexual thing, but he's shown no fan service of men this entire time. Isn't that interesting?
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. What you think Marvel rivals its sequel Goonery?
I mean, Marvel Rivals has some fan service. Yeah, it's titillating. It's I'd call it cheesecake, you know? I don't think it's goonery.
At BodyDarm8114 sent a super chat.
Good.
Jonko's torturers have horrible lives now, and one died painfully.
Excellent. As it should be.
At BlueBladerBot sent a super chat. Didn't Ant try to throw Literature Devil under TH? Bus emoji.
Yeah, and he's gone after... I mean, Anthony goes after people all the time, but if you talk about him, he doesn't like it. And yes, look, I've seen the little thigh jiggle on Emma Frost in Marvel Rivals, okay, and I approve. Anyway, okay, I think that was the end of the supers. Yeah, like, some of my Zoomer friends laughed at me for saying cheesecake, but that's what we used to call it when, you know, you got like a little bit of side boob, or you got a bit of titillation, but it's not like over the top or gross. You call it cheesecake. So anyway, let's check out the rest of the video.
I'd rather be upset with a piece of art than feel nothing after finishing it. Also, something else.
Okay, so he'd rather be upset than feel nothing, but why did you need to cite What is just rape porn of a 15-year-old girl being degraded and dehumanized until she's a pregnant homeless prostitute who then gets off on people kicking her pregnant belly until she miscarries and then dies of a drug overdose? Like, why was that your go-to for saying you'd rather feel upset than feel nothing at all? Like, hello? This seems like you really want to keep mentioning this thing. And you basically told us that people on Gaia Online introduced you to porn when you were underage, and now you are introducing hardcore porn to your all-ages audience. I'm just saying.
Older shows had it. Very important. Adults. People with different body types.
People with different body types, and he shows like a conventionally attractive woman.
I love the kind of woman that will actually just kill me.
Fantasy anime, in particular isekai, have become so...
Cowboy Bebop doesn't even really have fan service per se, you know? I wouldn't say.
...entrenched in fan service that some people were stunned when not one but two mainstream anime this year, Free Ren and Delicious in Dungeon, released back-to-back without focusing on extreme fan service.
Wow, mainstream shows that want to do well don't have gross fan service in them. Also, what the fuck does he mean there is no fan service in Delicious in Dungeon? Alright, we have to, Senshi, Dunmeshi, panty shots. This is why Dunmeshi is based. Although good, there's a whole Twitter for it. This is why Dunmeshi is based. There's two women in the show, and the only person who gets upskirt shots is the big burly dwarf man. They even do it more of it in the anime. What do you mean there's no fan service in Delicious in Dungeon? Look at that specimen. Again, though, I fucking love it. I fucking love that Senshi just has panty shots, and absolutely no other character has fan service. It's based. It's great. I fucking love it. It's so funny. But some people do enjoy it for, reasons. I know several man-likers do actually enjoy this. So, it's just funny to me. Look at that one. He's got his feet just sticking in the air. Oh, Senshi. We love you.
If you count food shots as fan service, in which case, Delicious in Dungeon has plenty of fan service. Fantasy anime has undergone a great shift over the years, dominated by JRPG mechanics, stock characters, and fan service. The familiar, meant to make each work accessible.
Yeah, it's a bunch of slop just to get perverted otaku to buy Blu-rays uncensored. Yeah, and...
largest demographic possible. Also slaves.
She'll do, I'll take this one.
It feels more like the writers are capturing the fantasy of its audience to have a degree of control over the world, increasingly outside their control.
Wow, the idea of these isekai with the hero getting a bunch of slave girls is the fantasy of a man just having control of everything around him, including a harem of girls who are at his mercy. That's the fantasy, that's the appeal, Anthony. And you can criticize that. Why are you, like, doubling down on defending this?
That's one of the big appeals of the harem genre, I know, having tons of beautiful women interested in you, but this takes away their ability to choose to be with someone. It feels like really weird wish fulfillment, more than a well-constructed fantasy world.
No shit, Sherlock! It's just there to be misogynistic wish fulfillment for pervert otaku who are gonna buy the uncensored Blu-rays. That's the grift. Why are you so stupid?
Maybe that's why a lot of these shows don't actually engage in intimacy, because intimacy means surrendering control.
Yeah, actually, Anthony, yeah, how's that different than Deers or Chobits? You could call them slaves too, couldn't you?
Some shows like Redo of Healer have this real cruel streak in them too. It's unpleasant and misanthropic. It's a lot of us.
You mean misogynistic, not misanthropic, but let's see if he calls Redo of a Healer deep too, guys. In that anime, a guy goes back in time and rapes all the women who were mean to him and makes them his sex slaves. Isn't that deep, guys?
Because intimacy means surrendering control. Some shows like Redo of Healer.
Wait a minute, he also just said intimacy means surrendering control?
It feels like really weird wish fulfillment, more than a well-constructed fantasy world. Maybe that's why a lot of these shows don't actually engage in intimacy, because intimacy means surrendering control.
Wouldn't being a slave be surrendering control, Anthony? And you just said surrendering control is what's intimate? Well, that's a concerning statement.
Shows like Redo of Healer have this real cruel streak in them, too. It's unpleasant and misanthropic. It's a lot of assault, a lot of abuse. And it's just not fun to watch.
But Metamorphosis is what you'd like more fan service to be? This is the fan service you're talking about. You want to see young women raped repeatedly until they become a sex slave. That's what happens in Metamorphosis, basically.
What? While all this fan service feels predictable, there is one subgenre that is overflowing with creativity, and it usually has some of the best fan service I've ever seen. And I'm gonna be honest, I do love this stuff.
Oh, where the fetishes, they're monster girls. Okay. How old are they, Anthony?
The Monster Girl series. Monsters offer character
God, these character designs suck. You're just putting, like, it's just like a normal-ass anime girl and then a Naga tail. These designs are terrible.
Reinterpret tons of classic monsters and fiends from fantasy mythology as cute girls. It's a character design.
It's a fetish, Anthony!
Anyone who loves creative...
It's a fetish!
These are the shows I love, because you get to see all the creativity.
Oh, and there's Miss Kobayashi again, and there's the lolly dragon, the young girl dragon that is sexualized throughout the show, and a real-life, elementary school human girl is horny for her. Not real life, but yeah, an actual human elementary school child is horny for the child dragon in this. So, and the author has previously drawn lolly and shota porn. So, yeah.
Display. This is one of the reasons why the recently announced plus-sized elf anime has my interest. There's a ton of goofy characters.
It's also a fetish, Anthony.
They're all designed in interesting fashions.
It's just a fetish!
The manga creator has a preference that, like with Mysterious Girlfriend X, definitely stands out. Oh, and the most important part, the characters are adults. But among all of these monster heroines...
The most important part, the characters are adults, unlike the last 15 shows I just talked about. And unlike the girl in Metamorphosis, which I said should be the model for anime fan service. Fucking hell.
There is a champion, a savior, interspecies reviewers. I adore this series. This is the gold standard.
I adore this series. That's just softcore porn to, again, sell uncensored Blu-rays to perverts.
It's a shameless plot with a simple conflict that services the fan service. And it's so outrageous, so shameless, so everything at once, that it transcends genre into becoming perfection. And yet it proved so hard to market, both in Japan and the West. Streaming services took it off their services. No one wants to get this PR disaster that was interspecies reviewers, and so no one has really tried even attempting to copy it since it came out. It stands apart.
He's whispering conspiratorially that his favorite anime is interspecies reviewers, which is just about a bunch of guys going to brothels and fucking chicks. Wow. And now he's showing the fucking, like, underage My Little Sister Loves Little Sister porn anime. Cool. Very cool.
It's also fascinating when you see a fan service show aimed for female audiences, because all of the show is about intimacy. It's often about people touching each other's faces, developing and forging relationships. Seriously, watch a shoujo anime, and then watch a fan service-y show.
Wow, women typically don't like watching things where women are dehumanized for entertainment. Imagine that.
Shonen anime, back to back. The difference is stark. Compare...
Again, if you wanted to talk about a fan service show aimed at women, why didn't you talk about Free?
Sword Art Online to the classic shoujo isekai series, Fushigi Yugi. It's in many ways the exact opposite of...
You think Sword Art Online is aimed at women and not men? Are you fucking retarded? It's a harem anime. It's a harem anime, and Asuna gets, like, almost raped in the second season by, like, a tentacle monster, for fuck's sake. You're saying this is aimed at women?
Watch a shoujo anime, and then watch a fan service-y shonen anime, back to back. The difference is stark. Compare...
Oh, okay, I see. Never mind. I misunderstood. You're comparing SAO to something else.
Sword Art Online to the classic shoujo isekai series, Fushigi Yugi.
These are made in two completely different decades, though. I mean, like...
It's in many ways the exact opposite of modern isekai. And much of it...
Yes, Fushigi Yugi is actually a reverse harem, so you have one girl and a bunch of men who are in love with her.
Fan service bits are shirtless men protecting women or fighting over their loves or holding one another. There's a lot of face touching and kind protective smiles.
Yeah, wow, women like intimacy and not seeing girls and women being brutalized sexually by men. Imagine that women would prefer that, Anthony.
Something similar happens in anime like Free and Yuri.
And yes, oh, now you mentioned Free. Why haven't you talked about it more in your face? Like, it's total fucking fan service.
Nice. So, here's the thing. I'm kind of old for an anime fan on the internet. I'm in my 30s. Most of the shows I'm championing on here are about adults in mature relationships or
I consider myself an anime fan, but I'm definitely an old taku. I can't get into a lot of newer stuff. Super excited about Cyberpunk Edgerunners 2, though.
Of age stories. Not so much the shameless fan service you see season to season. So many of the shows that I would watch and not examine as a teen, I come back to now and just feel uncomfortable watching. My perspective's shift.
Again, he's made uncomfortable by cartoony violence against the main male character of Love Hina, but he thinks rape porn of a 15-year-old girl is a perfect model for what fan service should be. Yeah, Esclaflowne is for girls, yes, I would say. Even though it does have some gnarly fight stuff in it, it's primarily an isekai for girls.
It's understandable. What was good for someone at some point in their life may not be good for them later on. And I think the best anime that encapsulates this discomfort deliberately is a Gainax series. The one that started the Gainax bounce. Evangelion.
Yeah, the one with all the fan service of teenage girls in it, Anthony. Why don't you tell us more about that?
Sorry, you deviant! Why do all boys have to be...
I will say, I've said this many times before, I respect Evangelion's place in anime history. I respect how it shaped the current anime landscape, for better or worse. You cannot get around the fact that it sexualizes the lead teenage girl characters. You just cannot get around that. It's okay to admit it. You can still like the series. You can still like it as a piece of art, while admitting it has these problematic elements. But yeah, she's fucking 14 years old.
I know, Evangelion is the gold standard for all anime, and all animation and all that. But I think it's odd looking at how the show markets its characters and figurines and such.
I only watched it years and years ago, once in Japanese, once in English. Probably the old dub with what the fuck is his name? Spiker, whatever the fuck, who did the amazing, famous Shinji rant. That
versus
guy.
how it presents him in the show.
And don't worry, I'm not gonna be making any passes at him.
Of course you're not. How could you even think of such a thing? You got no shame at all.
Some people don't have any sense of humor.
Ava's early episodes end with Misato promising fan service that doesn't ever come. Instead, we get goofy scenes early on.
Yeah, I think they added that in English, where she's like, I promise there'll be more fan service next episode, hee hee, and it's usually about the teenage girls.
That increasingly become...
Spike Spencer, thank you. That's who did, Shinji originally.
Less goofy. Misato laying around her apartment, entertaining. Misato opening up to Kaji about how she uses sex as an escape from her personal problems. Uncomfortable. Seeing Misato using sex as an escape. Voyeuristic. Invasive.
Well, it's supposed to be, because this isn't fan service. This is actually part of the plot, Anthony. Like, does he not know the difference?
What was charming soon becomes a very unpleasant reflection of her inner turmoil.
Yeah, because it started out as a corny Monster of the Week show, and then it got really depressing, because Anno had, like, a depressive spiral after they had to cut a bunch of the show because of the sarin gas attacks. And it just turned into something completely different.
But Misato is also an adult. It's way more disturbing when something like this happens with the youngest character in the cast.
Mama. Mama.
Asuka, the whole series, wants to be seen as an adult.
You're not going to show us how in Asuka's first introduction, her skirt gets flipped up, and all the boys see her panties? And when she complains about it, one of the boys flashes his dick at her in return? That was necessary. What about the scene where Shinji is rifling through Rei's things, and she comes into the room naked except for a towel over her chest, and he accidentally knocks a drawer full of her underwear and bras over, and he lands on top of her, surrounded by her underwear? That was also very necessary. She's a clone of his mother, by the way.
And a lot of attention is drawn to her body in some shots, including one scene I'm sure the guy who made Plus Size Elf probably enjoyed. But this gets less charming as the series continues, and we understand that Asuka's drive to appear more adult is born from her incredible anxieties.
Yeah, but the men making this show still wanted to show titty shots of her, Anthony, and she is 14 years old.
One of the most disturbing scenes in the show is where she has an emotional breakdown right before going in the shower. It's heartbreaking and sad to watch her in such a state, and we're just voyeurs to it. It illustrates the reality behind fan service, forcing us to confront the painful side of intimacy, of spying. The show goes, you want to look at some people? Well, let's look at them at their worst possible moments.
I am a grown-up!
Or while the character's having a mental breakdown, we have to make sure we still see her cleavage, because we know that's what sells.
So, is there a point to this? I'd say yes. Fanservice
Ray is a clone of Shinji's mom.
is fine when it's the spice of your story, but often overtakes the substance underlying a narrative. There's unlimited potential in fiction, yet so many people are content to recycle the same premise, same tropes, and same styles over and over and over again. I don't think fanservice should be something we mindlessly consume. We should demand more from our trashy fun anime. More creativity, more outrageous material, more—
Fanservice is supposed to be mindless. It's just a little bit of cheesecake and titillation in a show. Like...
or sometimes uncomfortable storytelling.
Oh, there we go! He showed fucking Metamorphosis again! Over Asuka, the 14-year-old girl he really likes from Eva.
More, sometimes, uncomfortable.
So that's the end of Metamorphosis, where the main girl, after orgasming as people kicked her pregnant belly into miscarrying, goes into the bathroom and sees her old self in the mirror, and smashes her face into the mirror, and then dies of a drug overdose. And again, she was orgasming as people were kicking the baby in her belly to death. But it's not just mindless porn, guys. It's definitely not just porn. It's totally dark and meaningful, guys. And this is what we need fanservice to be. We need to see young girls being miserable as they're sexualized at the same time. That's really what the world needs.
Storytelling. But we also need better character writing and sincere development. The best fanservice shows either find that balance between the corny and the sincere, or go so far into the stratosphere that it becomes legendary.
So it's about 8 o'clock. What do you guys think? Do you want to watch his more modern fan service video too? I'll leave it up to you guys. I'll make a poll on YouTube. I can talk. Otherwise, the stream will be over for the night. So do we want to watch the other fan service video? And I'll take the supers that are, there we go. So you guys can decide on that. I'll let you guys vote, because I could go for a little longer. Now, Silent Hill music is what we need. It looks like we're getting a lot of yeses. Okay. Alright, you guys are showing some above average interest. So, sure. Nah, we'll just, I'm not gonna touch drama again for a while, so we might as well. And we'll have him on 1.25 again, so his follow-up from 7 months ago was, yeah, I think I could just end the poll. We have like 80%. It's unfit for Mars, please. I've had enough of this man's opinions. We'll have some supers first.
Frog sent a super chat. Someone got to my point before me, so here's $2 anyway.
Yay! Thank you!
At SwordHeart520 sent a super chat. Borino Zoro from One Piece is really fan service for PPL who like men. I can't tell you how many times he's shirtless with flexing muscles and close up of his pecs. And should have mentioned that.
You only mentioned fan service about women, really.
7269 sent a super chat, and is on Blusky RN saying he a victim so it's okay.
Yeah, that's what SkittyBitty said about getting close to 13-year-olds.
Irvane sent a super chat. Off topic, but why cheesecake? Eat with carrot cake?
I don't know, it's just the term. People just called it cheesecake. I don't know. It's like getting called butts cake now.
81 sent a super chat. Guess Ant does not like bears his loss. At Blue Blader Bot sent a super chat. First I heard of it was a Comiquelus, the mascot? The Pope showed as a mascot for the Catholic Church, I think. Told her that Jesus loves them. At Mrs. Polly sent a super chat. You know what would actually be sex positive and good fan service? Adults who know what sex is and don't give themselves hypertension at the thought of holding hands.
Yeah.
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. In Kobayashi Maid Dragon there's also a little boy living with a big booby dragon lady. I wonder why. At Super Brownie 247 sent a super chat. I actually love Monster Musume a lot, but I'm a monster effer. Draco is my girl. I love Stevens.
I don't think the character design's very good, to be honest.
At Kaylee and Christine sent a super chat. I would pay Ant's wife $700 to review his anime taste for this video.
Is that a reference to him offering Lily Orchard about $700 to review Evangelion?
At Sawsonist sent a super chat. I am a gorehound. I love Terrifier. Johnny THM. I'm like 79% sure I'm sane.
I like gore and hyperviolence too. Like, I love The Boys. I also love Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and other Jonan Vasquez works. You know what those don't have, though? Like, graphic rape that are there to titillate you.
At Hespionata5011 sent a super chat. Demons of the Shadow Realm, if it has fanservice, is a Fullmetal Alchemist reference, and it was the Mina episode. Now that it's fanservice,
I do need to watch that, because I do love Hiromu Arakawa, so...
At Mars Please sent a super chat. I've had enough of this man's opinions.
Well, we're gonna get more, because I let people vote for it. I'm sorry. But this is why I front-loaded the stream with the drama, so people can just get that out of the way and not have to stick around for the rest if they don't want to.
At 1Z01 sent a super chat. Back from the new Spider-Man movie, what did I miss?
You basically missed everything, but we're gonna watch Anthony's newer fanservice video now, just for the fuck of it.
At Pyro7693 sent a super chat. Uma Musume's creators are famous for cracking down on porn depictions of their characters.
No, that's at least... that's at least refreshing.
At Blue Bladerbot sent a super chat. Maybe I'm getting confused. I saw another Metamorphosis fan comic where a guy goes back in time and tells the MC that she is loved and makes a good end.
Yeah, it seems that Metamorphosis was one of those things that got passed around just to shock people with, because again, most people are not going to find it titillating, but it is made for the kinds of people who would find it titillating, so, and there's no getting around that. There really isn't, and he's full of shit if he thinks so. Again, I showed you guys a video of the creator of the manga himself saying it has no message, and he wanted it to be entertaining. So, no, it's not supposed to upset and disgust and challenge you, Anthony. It's just fucking porn for sick weirdos. Anyway, let's see what his updated opinions about fan service are now. I know he bitches a lot about Visa and MasterCard in this one. Oh, everybody take note that this is good thumbnail fodder at the beginning of this video. And he's still... Oh, yeah. Well, no, this is the same video we were talking about before, but he has that incest volleyball anime in the back there, which is super cool. Again, did you even understand what was wrong with Shadiversity's book? I'm wondering at this point. Yeah, we're speeding him up to 1.25 again, so it'll take a quarter of the time.
Are you gonna go to jail for reading manga?
Leave me alone!
I mean, the kind of manga you read, maybe.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but maybe. That's actually a thing that could happen.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
I don't know, maybe one day you're gonna wake up at 12.
What the fuck is this editing? Did you edit this? What if universe? Your editing is obnoxious.
I am with the cops outside your house ready to haul your ass away with all your collections of hentai and gooner figurines and drag you off to the state penitentiary, where you'll spend the rest of your days next to...
Oh, he drew attention to the incest volleyball comic he has on his shelf. Cool.
A waifu pillow and a guy named Steve. Because you happen to buy a volume of Dragon Ball, maybe.
I'm concerned.
You know, it's a possibility. You never know.
What is this editing?
No, but it could happen. I
mean, I know we haven't sped up, but what the fuck?
Dump all your hentai into a Iron Mouse pillowcase or whatever for your body pillow. You know, that's what's gonna happen. Or, I mean, you could do that. What are you gonna do? Now, for a lot of people, fan service...
So he wanted us to notice the incest volleyball anime he has on the shelf here. He wanted us to notice it. You know, again, to remind you guys, since we looked at it earlier, this was the back cover of it, with all these girls in degrading porn poses, and one of them is his older sister who's in love with him. And, yeah, so that's what that is.
This matters a lot, I'm surprised to say. It's such a mainstay in the medium of animation that a lot of anime fans just don't really think about it all that much. It's just very normalized. However, for many, fan service is a war.
But war never changes.
A war with winners and losers. And unfortunately, very often, if you're fighting this war, you're already a loser to begin with, but I digress.
Okay, Base, you zoomed in on him when he said losers. What's with the random zoom in over that way? What are we supposed to be looking at here? What is this editing?
Claim that anime is being censored.
Because especially in this day and age, when it comes to anime, manga, light novels, we are seeing a lot of that rampantly kind of very much of apparent that there are some very much bad actors out there that are defending censorship.
And they point to the various cases of manga adaptations changing things to make them less scandalous in some way, while others point to government body establishing laws that...
It's not scandal, Anthony. It's not wanting, like, reprehensible things published. You know, things that you talked about how Love Hina causes an epidemic of male abuse, but you don't think all of this porn about dehumanizing and degrading women and raping them is maybe causing issues too?
That will restrict and change what you watch.
This is like George Orwell's book, 1984.
But let's take a step back here, because I think
editing
is a much bigger issue than the other. I think government overreach is way worse than, say, I don't know, them putting a little more fabric on an outfit. You know what I'm saying? But many will defend fan service by calling it what the fans want. I have a different argument.
Oh yeah, the demon girls in panty and stocking, didn't they emphasize one of them as basically 16 in demon years? That's cool.
I think fan service should be defended not because it's enjoyable to fans, but because it's a form of art that can actually communicate meaning. Yes, this is the take I'm going with. It is art. You see, I kind of live in this weird middle ground of discussion. I feel like there's people who are like really hate anything that's scandalous and love everything that's scandalous, but they don't really think about what the scandalous material says and does for the work. A lot of people argue there's no value in fan service in media because they think it's superficial, they think it's extra. And you know what? Sometimes it is. But you have to acknowledge there is a middle ground here, one that acknowledges the benefits of this. I want to briefly touch upon fan service's origins and history animation. While sex sells has always been a staple in media, I mean, look at the poster for 1 million years BC. That poster right there, they sold 1 million tickets with just...
Oh, he brought that up in the last video too. I don't think he has music in this one, so I'm just going to keep playing mine, I suppose.
Raquel Welch in a bikini. Japan is a little different. You can actually trace the exact moment fan service became a mainstay in the medium, and it's the 70s. Like a lot of trends in modern...
Anthony, there's like an ancient Sumei painting of a lady fucking an octopus. I think this has been in Japanese culture a lot longer.
In anime, you can thank Go Nagai for modern fans. Go Nagai is most famous for making Mazinger Z and Devilman.
If you ever say that again, I'll rip your fucking head off and shit down your neck, okay?
But the series Cutie Honey really helped make fan service a mainstay in the medium. Honey Kisaragi,
so this is a remake of the other video, basically.
Is a seemingly normal 16-year-old girl. 16-year-old Catholic schoolgirl from Japan, no big deal. I mean, she's usually an android.
So you know she's underage. So this time you tell us that Cutie Honey is supposed to be 16, and you don't have a problem with it. And you say 16-year-old Catholic schoolgirl because you know the trope of people sexualizing schoolgirl uniforms because they're associated with underage girls. You know, kind of like how school uniforms in Japan are sexualized as well. And you don't see a problem with that. You don't see how that's a pedophilia problem. About how preying on teenage girls is so normalized. That doesn't bother you at all, okay.
You ever say that again, I'll rip your fucking head off and shit down your neck, okay?
But the series Cutie Honey really helped make fan service a mainstay in the medium. Honey Kisaragi is a seemingly normal 16-year-old girl, 16-year-old Catholic schoolgirl from Japan, no big deal. I mean, she's usually an android, but she doesn't know that till later, who has...
16-year-old Catholic schoolgirl from Japan, no big deal! Anthony?
The ability to transform into a
Oh, and thank you, whoever just gave me money on PayPal. My phone just popped up at me.
Magical girl. Of course, to transform, she had to transmute all the clothing away. And this meant two things. A lot of very interesting outfits, and a lot of naked honey. This series, which was an action shonen series, by the way, not a slice of life, shoujo, or what have you. Cutie Honey was an action shonen series aimed for boys. This is unlike a lot of magical girl stories at the time, which were more I Dream of Jeannie.
It's for boys, so it's okay that it's a naked 16-year-old girl.
Or Bewitched-inspired slice of life stories for young girls. And
again, remember, he recently colluded with SkittyBitty to paint a guy as a pedophile for having lewd art of a character that might be 17, but nobody knows for sure. And here he is just openly admitting nudity of a 16-year-old girl for sexual titillation. So, why is Octorok a pedophile, Anthony, if you're okay with this? Can you explain that to me?
It kind of shifted the levels a little bit here. It was one of the first magical stories to really push towards action-oriented narratives. I think along with Princess Knight, but it's a whole other story. Along with Princess Knight, it was a action series starring a girl, but unlike Princess Knight, it had the Go Nagai flavor of overt sexualization throughout. Dude, just read Devilman if you want to have an idea of how like really over the top Go Nagai is with this fan service, even outside of works. But Cutie Honey really helped mainstreamify that. Now, fans complain today about censorship in terms of what gets adapted into the anime version of the manga, but they'd have a field day if they saw how reduced the fan service was between the...
Yep, let's just look at this image with him. He said this character is 16 years old. 16-year-old Catholic schoolgirl, no big deal, is what he said. And yes, he did go after chibi reviews. The open lolicon. That's why I'm doing this stream. It's the hypocrisy. I'm so sick of smug motherfuckers like him thinking they're morally superior to other people.
The original Cutie Honey manga and its first anime adaptation in the 70s. Now, much like with Devilman, that came out at the same time, Cutie Honey's anime adaptation took creative liberties to smooth over the edges of the original. Gore, jokes, queer themes, and even the sci-fi elements were completely omitted, if not heavily reduced. There was still some...
I really doubt there's queer, quote-unquote, themes in a fucking, like, 70s anime, Anthony.
Fan service, but it was tame by comparison of what happened in the manga. But from there, manga pushed the bar a little further. Urusei Yatsura is one big one in regards to that. You know, one of Rumiko Takahashi's earliest works. It had a lot of inappropriate jokes and fan service, and it got adapted pretty faithfully to television. In a similar fashion, Fujiko...
It's also a seinen manga, and the characters are adults.
...from Lupin III became a femme fatale icon in 70s anime, and that was in part due to, again, the outfit she wore and her incredible sense of style. Now, fanservice would rise to popularity further in the 80s thanks to a number of factors, the first of which is the growing otaku subculture, with anime fans being able to make their own anime after growing up with it in the 60s and 70s. Studio Gainax is a great example of a studio founded on otaku ideals, at least at first, and they incorporated a lot of elements that were designed to make fans happy, specifically young adolescent fans and fans in their 20s who are all male. Well, some people might know Gainax for their infamous Gainax pose that happens in a lot of their shows. They were first famous for what they called the Gainax bounce, which I think you can figure out what it means. If you watch Daikon 3 or 4, you can see that all over the place. Those shorts helped establish Gainax as an animation studio.
So he's not explaining it well. These shorts were actually made, these are fan-made shorts, so actually very impressive for the time. We're talking cell animation. So these were fan-made shorts that the people who eventually became Gainax would show at anime conventions. They do one every year, and then they eventually became their own anime studio. It's kind of interesting, actually.
That could produce higher quality material, and they've only had more chances to prove this over time, and of course had more chances to weave in the little fan service throughout. And there's some big titles that we'll discuss more in detail that do that very thing. But another major factor in all this was the growing video market, where anime could be produced without conforming to television practices and standards, or well, even human decency in some cases. The 80s is one of my
OVAs like had no goddamn rules.
favorite era of anime because you got a lot of seriously unhinged stuff coming out that didn't conform to market-tested standards, what have you. People just throwing crap at the wall and seeing what stuck. In some cases, it's stuck like it's like a bad habit. A great example of a show that tried a lot of weird things that went in a different direction later on was Dream Hunter Rem, an OVA series from the 80s, I think 85 specifically. And while Rem became a popular magical series, surprisingly with young teens and girls even, it started as definitely not that at all. In fact, some people have credited Rem with the initial waves of popularity of certain tentacle-themed experience.
This is reminding me of another thing that I like that is kind of horny, and that's Dragon Half. I have the entire manga.
This is an anime. It's always surreal seeing a show that became more popular for families starting off in such a...
Dragon Half is horny, but it's also very funny, like extremely funny, especially the manga.
Adult-centric medium, but I digress. But I think the early interest in this really showed there was a massive audience looking for animation that were more explicit, more adult-themed, in some cases inappropriate. And a lot of them were available right now if you look for them online. A lot of them just loose on the internet. It's crazy. Some are available on Retro Crush right now for free. Well, being behind the premium version of the free, you get what I'm trying to say. Some like Bubblegum Crisis and Dirty Pair used fan service to draw in an audience. A lot of people know the character designs from Dirty Pair, for example. But if you actually watch the show, you might be surprised to realize it's a really good science fiction series. And likewise, a lot of people remember Bubblegum Crisis for that opening theme in the first episode, the hair metal, heavy metal thing that has a lot of those.
I will say, I think like the horniness of some 80s anime was actually more tasteful, yes. Like, again, the problem these days is that companies are basically just producing softcore porn to sell uncensored Blu-rays to otaku perverts later. That's ruined the anime industry for a while. I think it's only just recovering, really.
Stylized shots, but if you actually watch Bubblegum Crisis, you get a really good cyberpunk story. So a lot of shows would incorporate fan service and not be totally devoted to it. It would be an extra thing to draw people's attention, but once you're in, there was a lot going on.
If you like the Dragon Half OVA, please seek out the manga. It is absolutely hysterical. And I would also say it's like one of the earliest examples of a lit RPG.
Was really worth watching. There's a reason why these shows are classics this day, because they're good. I think Gunbuster, though, is one of the highlights from this era, being one of Hideaki Anno's earliest productions, and it's one of his best, in my opinion. The way women are drawn in Gunbuster feels real. There's these little mannerisms that you see.
Yeah, they look
they
super real. Are they teenagers, Anthony?
That makes them feel more human. They feel like people you'd encounter. And there are scenes where they just open with each other. There's like locker rooms and all that. And they're just talking and chatting. Yes, it is exploitative in some way, but characters first and foremost. These decisions by the storyteller to show something the fans wanted to see, sure, but you also got a narrative alongside.
I mean, like, scenes of characters in an ocean together aren't always fan service. I mean, bathing culture is really big in Japan, and hanging out in the baths naked with your friends is pretty normal, so it's not always fan service. It's just part of the culture sometimes.
You got character development, furthering an idea of bonds between these women. And of course, the show would veer into some dark territory in the second half. I still believe that Christopher Nolan owes Hideaki Anno a check, because Gunbuster did what Interstellar did first, and it did it much better. Yeah, I said it.
He had that same joke in the first video. I haven't seen either. I am meaning to get around to watching Interstellar. There's a few movies I have to watch when my autistic brain gets me in movie mode again. I do need to watch Interstellar. I don't like Christopher Nolan's directing style very much. Like, the only one of his movies I really like is The Prestige, but I haven't seen Interstellar, and I've been told I'd like it.
And over time, this became a normal practice in anime.
I'm getting
a lot
bored
of creators
of Anthony,
that became very popular later on got their start drawing doujinshi, which are basically fan comics. And what kind of fan comics people want to read? The ones that are inappropriate. The ones that would never be adapted to a televised show. And so
he really is still a 16-year-old boy going, look, I have a comic with boobies in it. You know, he's giggly and conspiratorial about it. Like, fuck's sake, you're a grown man. You have a son.
They made these exploitative, very erotic comics, and that proved to people, hey, this artist has a style that's interesting. This artist has a voice that's interesting. Blam, the creator of Hell's...
Yeah, I miss really bold, dark, sharp shadows in anime, man.
There's so many that started with doujin before making really good manga that you've heard of. Now, I also want to point out something here. In the 90s and 2000s, a lot of works started to make fun of how prevalent fan service was. I mean, it was all over the place. So you gotta make some jokes about it. Like how at the end of every episode of Evangelion, Misato Katsuragi teases fan service next episode, a promise that gets increasingly disturbing the further along you go. And the show we'll discuss...
Is it because they're teenagers, or is it because of the mental breakdowns all the characters have?
Evangelion later in the video, because trust me, it's voyeur...
There are non-hentai doujin. There are. I think a lot of Westerners just associate doujinshi with porn, because that's what a lot of us saw of it, but doujinshi is, like, a whole thing. Like, it's some weird, like, I don't know, it's like some lax copyright law that people can make underground fan comics and sell them. Not sell them mass market, but sell them, and it seems to be, usually the copyright holders just don't pursue it, or there's a loophole or something. But yeah, not all doujinshi is porn, and a lot of people do get their start that way.
The realistic perspective of its characters is actually really interesting to discuss and deeply...
Now there's the scene I was talking about. Very interesting to discuss. He says, this is Asuka, whatever the fuck her name is. This is her introduction in the show. This 14-year-old girl. She hops down, she introduced herself, she's super confident, and then the wind blows her skirt up and all the boys see her panties. What a deep and meaningful series.
Us and deeply disturbing. Of course, mixed in with all this...
And then one of the boys flashes his dick at her. Yeah.
It was some pretty weird stuff. Obviously, a lot of people know about the infamous Legend of the Overfiend, a horror erotic OVA series that helped...
It's just porn.
popularized tentacles, if not in Japan, certainly in the West. Though bizarrely, movies like Possession...
Well, the tentacle shit was to get around censorship.
We're already doing stuff like with tentacles in the West already, and movies like Untamed, I kind of see as a live-action equivalent to what we got in...
Don't look up. Is he just talking about more movies where women are sexually brutalized and that's the appeal? He seems to really, really like those.
Overfiend, if you really want to see that in live action, the Untamed's got you covered there, man. But again, Overfiend was intense.
Yeah, he's asking in his title, is it sexist is trash, and he's not even engaging with that argument at all. I think he's here to tell us, actually, ladies, this isn't sexist. It's actually deeply meaningful, and because it's from Japan, you're racist if you say it's bad. You know?
Zombie even references one of his songs. Anyway, there's several shows that...
I think he's only talking about Legend of the Overfiend because people like Bennett the Sage covered it, because he covered a lot of, like, obscure, fucked up anime, like, to, like, gasp and laugh at it, you know?
To take things to new heights, to be memorable. One such story is Mysterious Girlfriend X. This manga and anime is on one hand a sweet romance, but it's also hidden in the most exploitative game of spit ever. Jesus, why the fuck did I write that? Why did I even write that? Mysterious Girlfriend X is just gross in my opinion, but it does a really great romance.
It's still somebody's fetish, Anthony.
If you like that sort of thing, you can get past, you know, the slimy exterior of it all. And
I personally don't enjoy romances between underage teenagers, typically, but... Oh, we're actually going to talk about Elfen Lied this time. Can I bitch about it more?
I feel like at times the fan service got in the way of the story. A good example of this is Elfen Lied. If you thought the anime was a lot, the manga is way more, and it kind of bounced between...
Yeah, and again, like I said, it's like a serial killer's harem. The whole thing is just fetish shit. It's just misery porn and fetish shit and little lolly cat girls getting dismembered, Anthony. It's not deep.
Deep horror and like...
And again, I have seen the entire anime and I hate read the entire manga, so I can unequivocally have an opinion on it.
Love Hina style harem hijinks. It's weird. Got more and more fetishy as it went on, and it's just bizarre and uncomfortable. And there's a reason the anime is remembered for being, you know, kind of hokey and too edgy for me. And the manga is that thing you see in every bookstore that's hidden in plastic wrap. Then something happened. Not just a fan...
Are you going to criticize it at all? Since you think it's uncomfortable, but you want more fan service to be uncomfortable, apparently. You just want more women being brutalized and infantilized, I guess.
It's with the anime medium in general, and that's moe. Connected to the set of characters that are being more deliberately moe.
Oh god, is he talking about lolly when he says moe? But, I went to pause and I accidentally, clipped ahead. But I also miss Bennett the Sage. I hope he's doing okay. I know he went on hiatus to take care of his father.
Rap. Then something happened. Not just to fan service, but the anime medium in general, and that's moe.
Oh, you mean the cute girls doing cute things genre, which isn't actually aimed at girls, it's aimed at grown men where the appeal is how cute and innocent and pure these young teenage girls are?
The moe art style emphasized cute and adorable characters that made you want to protect them at all costs. You know, vulnerable, sweet, you know, most anime characters today. But when did moe start? Well, I really have no idea, and no one really knows either. I tried looking it up, and some pointed to Sailor Saturn from Sailor Moon as one of the first true moe characters. I saw some people point to Cosette from Les Miserables.
I mean, are you saying moe is being, like, pathetic and helpless or something? Moe basically means it's like a character that inflames you, because I think that's what the word literally means. Like a character that it's like my special blurbo, but for guys who get crushes on anime characters.
Oddly enough, because it had a resurgence of popularity in Japan about the same time as a musical, and there's a lot of Cosette-themed anime that exists. This was a thing I kind of knew already, but I didn't realize how many Les Mis anime they are. There's multiple, and they all star Cosette for some
Les Mis is one of the most influential things ever, so...
reason? I guess because moe. I mean, personally, if you ask me, moe...
Oh, yeah, or because lolly, that's why they like Cosette.
Moe characters have been around since the beginning, though I'd probably point to Magical Girl Minky Momo as being one of the first more overt moe characters, but again, that's a show for really young girls.
It's moe about her. I don't think you even... you keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
So maybe that's less moe and more trying just to appeal to young girls. Moe's a different kind of thing. It has the protective angle to it, too. You want to protect the poor characters.
And moe is when it's aimed at grown men who are going doki doki over how pure these teenage girls are.
Sailor Saturn, I think, gets a lot of those elements all in one. She embodies many of the early tropes of this. She's this frail, sickly girl, and the characters fight over her. She has those big eyes.
Yeah, he thinks moe just means being frail and sickly and helpless. That's not what it means. It just means a character you will have a crush on or will obsess over. Because she's just so cute and pure. And again, it's mostly aimed at grown men. Sailor Moon is aimed at girls, actually.
Eyes. Oh, and Sailor Saturn's name, it's Hotaru Homoe.
Moe is built into her name. So, yeah.
This is before the term moe was even coined, my dude. First time I heard moe was like the early 2000s. I think on the Furikuri commentary track from the director.
I see why they point to Sailor Saturn so often as the origin point of moe. Now, several characters can arguably be considered moe throughout the 90s and early 2000s. But I guess as
Why do you keep showing the little sister into little sister porn anime? Why do you keep... This is Yandev's favorite anime. Why do you keep showing it?
Creators became aware of this growing trend in fandom, they decided to make characters more deliberately moe. Characters that you want to protect at all costs.
Jesus
Cute
Christ,
girls with
how
rounded faces
horrifying.
and these frail bodies who are sometimes
I don't want to take care of that thing. I want to punt it out a window. What the fuck was... Look at... What is that? Kill it with fire!
Bodies who are sometimes profoundly ill or vulnerable. And then they cross it over with...
Well, they don't... Like, I think he's, what is the term for sick cute? There's a term for it. It's like sick cute. Hang on, let me look it up. I forgot the word. Anime trope, sick cute. There's like a term for it. I'm not finding it. Okay, I want the actual word for... There is a word for it, though. A character that's cute because they're sickly and helpless or something. It's like, there is a term. It's not moe, though.
fan service. Now, when moe as a style, because it's not really a genre, it's more of a style, took off and kind of consumed fan service, things changed. And I know because...
Well, it's not really a style. I mean, we call characters like this moe blobs because they're obviously designed to be marketable and to get, like, pervert otaku obsessed with them. That's why we call them moe blobs, because they're all very samey, superficial, not very deep characters.
Look, I'm not an expert, but I had eyes. I was an anime fan in the 2000s. There's a distinctive period in time before Haruhi Suzumiya and after Haruhi Suzumiya. It's not like a sharp line, really, but it's...
I don't exactly disagree with him on that one. One W take from Anthony.
It's like, you know, before that, you had these different types of character designs, and after that, for the next 5 years, it was moe blobs everywhere. I think a big reason for this is with the moe era is that characters were de-emphasized in favor of fitting the moe archetype. Every moe character felt kind of similar and vulnerable in a way that, well, we saw already. And because of that, I think it drew attention to how many tropes there were in anime at this time and how many shows were kind of repeating the same cycles of things. And then it took over everything. It's...
Yeah, a bunch of slop just repeats what sells. Like, there was this much slop in the 80s and 90s, too. It's just all gone by the wayside, you know?
The biggest push came from Kyoto Animations, aka KyoAni. Now, KyoAni is a fantastic animation studio.
No, they're not. I fucking hate KyoAni. they make such generic slop. Tragedy what happened, though.
Studio, who've done a lot for the industry. They're one of the few studios, for example, that paid their artists a fair, livable wage, and they also experienced great tragedy when their head studio was burned down. So nothing I'm saying is shade on KyoAni. In fact, most of the shows I think are really good, but they are kind of accountable for pushing them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like their shows, but that was a horrible tragedy that happened, but did we really need to bring it up here?
The moe style so hard. And again, it's not every studio getting...
You're not even talking about fan service, really, anymore.
It was Bleach, Naruto, they all came out at the same time, and they weren't really all moe-fied either. But thanks to KyoAni, you got...
They're shonen, idiot! Of course they're not moe-fied, because moe characters are aimed at grown-ass men! Of course a shonen anime isn't going to have, like, kawaii cute girls doing cute things to appeal to grown men, because it's aimed at young boys who still think girls have cooties.
Haruhi Suzumiya. They also put out Air, Canon, Lucky Star, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, K-On!, the favorite show of Nazis online, apparently.
Wow! I actually felt myself die a little inside!
And arguably their crowning achievement in the moe
Why do
landscape,
Nazis love
Clannad and
K-On!
Clannad
Because
After
it's
Story.
little...
And finally, Evergarden.
Yeah, do Nazis love K-On! Because it's appealing little girls, Anthony? Have you ever thought about
We'll come out
that?
later from KyoAni, but Clannad was their real big show that I think really proved how they could make something really moving and not just fun and entertaining. Clannad After Story is proof that moe as a style is not inherently bad and can in fact enhance and enrich some of the most deeply, profoundly depressing moments in anime ever. I think the scene in After Story...
Do you mean melodrama? These things have the depth of a soap opera, Anthony.
Involving the daughter in the snow. Yeah, we're putting clips of it right now. You know what happens in the scene. If you've seen the show and you didn't cry like a baby watching it, you're lying to yourself. Or have it...
No, it's soap opera melodrama. It doesn't move me at all. I have watched Air, too. That is also soap opera melodrama.
Maybe just, irony poisoned, I'm gonna tell you. Hell, 4chan was sad when that aired. And again, Clannad's where that style works best. It's an art style that keeps you deeply connected to the set of characters that are being shown to you. And then they cruelly kill them off in front of your eyes from illness. Again, this is why I think Cosette from Les Miserables is probably the perfect moe character pre-Haruhi Suzumiya, because the goal is to make you hurt in your soul watching her.
Lolicons love her, Anthony, so what are you saying?
Yes, you in particular.
Yeah, how is it fan service? You're saying frail little girls are fan service? Well, then you know, that these moe characters are aimed at grown-ass men who want to feel excited about how pure and cute and brainless these teenage girls are.
The problem comes when these characters are being infantilized as well, and made into useless blobs.
They're always infantilized. That's part of the appeal, you fucking idiot.
And put into fan service situations. See what I'm going at?
Telenovelas would destroy Anthony. Why is Masako X here?
Now, as you may know, I'm not a fan of fan service. It's not because I don't like the female form. I do. However, it's just the sheer amount that is in anime these days.
Some stories measure this out. There's the Western visual novel.
It's almost like this is an issue, and way too many people like sexualizing kids in anime, and we should maybe talk about that.
Novel Katawa Shoujo, which balances out.
I don't think he filmed that for Anthony. I think this is a clip from one of his videos.
Moe characters with a romantic story about a teen falling in love with disabled girls. Katawa Shoujo is one of the most surprisingly good things.
Wasn't this a fucking meme game?
Things I've ever read. I am stunned that the concept of a love triangle story in a school for the disabled somehow turned out to be so moving.
And you don't think it's maybe fetishizing those disabilities a little bit, Anthony? Also, wasn't it a 4chan meme game?
Wasn't like really cheesy, but it works somehow. But most don't do it all that well. I think all you gotta do is watch Hero Manga Sensei to see how it can go really badly.
俺はお前のことが好きだ。でもな、俺はお前の兄貴になりたいんだ。兄弟で恋愛なんてありえないだろ。
Now, in terms of fan service being made illegal, remember that's what the video was about this whole time.
Was that the guy friend-zoning her, or what the fuck was that supposed to be?
There are two core discussions. There's one where fan service is being actively censored in adaptations, and the other where it's becoming literally censored by government bodies and corporations, but I digress, where it's a crime to have fan service. But again, we'll get there. Let's start with the easier thing to discuss, because things change in adaptation all the time. And
his videos are all over the place. You're the H-cup that was at Ushio's funeral. How nice.
I don't think it's really an issue that's all that big a deal beyond, well, you'll see what I'm talking about. After all, as we showed, the OVA market blew up in the 80s and 90s because you couldn't show certain things on TV. You had to go to video.
Golden Boy was literally a sex comedy. That is the point of it. For fuck's sake.
To do that. So there was always a push between creatives and what you could put on television. But if you're working within the television system, you gotta conform to its standards or you get kicked off the
Why were you showing children's shows when you said that?
Air.
Dipper gets a flyer from Wendy for a Halloween party, and it said on it like, Halloween party, bottles will be spun, no photos better wind up online, and they're like, bottles will be spun, spin the bottle.
Anthony, we're talking about children's shows now. Why are we talking about children's shows, Anthony? Starring child characters, Anthony. At first I thought maybe it was the disconnect because it's anime. And you don't really think that hard about characters being 15 in anime. And now we're talking about Western cartoons, starring child characters that look much more like children. Why are we talking about that here?
Reference. Impossible! Never on the Disney Channel! We bugged before, this is the last straw, so I was like, okay, replace bottles will be spun with not S&P approved. I was just basically being a dick at that point. And they were like, our audience won't understand that reference. I'm like, yeah, but is it like against the rules? And they're like, not S&P approved, has been approved by S&P.
That's happening.
I mean, it's a funny fucking story. But what does it have to do with sexual content in media, Anthony?
Two, if your show is being marketed towards a certain demographic and shows things that are inappropriate for that demographic, even in Japan, you're gonna get pushback, so that things have to change.
Even in Japan? Even in Japan, you'll get pushback? So it's almost like, you know, Japan has a very big, uniquely big problem with sexualizing teenage characters. Very cool.
At the creative level, they're putting a lot of money in this project. They gotta make some cuts here and there. A manga, you can put whatever you want in that, really, as long as it's published by the editor. But if it's on TV and multiple jobs
you can put whatever you want in it as long as it's published by the editor, meaning there are editorial things, meaning editors will ask you to take things out. Do you think that's censorship?
The line, make sure it makes a profit. Now, it is important to know a lot of people don't understand how Japanese television standards work, how time slots in Japan work, and etc. And I think a great example of a story in the West running wild, despite nothing confirming it being true from the Japanese side of things, was a story that was spread by plagiarist James Somerton. Though he, of course, like all things James Somerton said, did not come up with this himself.
James Somerton, the guy who you swept in to replace, and then you swept for a plagiarist. Again, he wasn't angry about Utterly Noah plagiarizing. He was angry about Utterly Noah issuing a copyright strike against someone. The plagiarism didn't bother him. He tried to help him get out of that, even though he'll deny it now. But yeah, as soon as James Somerton was, like, run off the internet, like a month later, Anthony started his channel. Just let that one sink in.
He stole it from someone else. Yuri on Ice, one of the most popular animes of
Yes, he lambasted Alex Myers for far less than he's said in these videos. Isn't that cool?
2016 was a sports show with a lot of gay themes, and a lot of fans watching it were questioning the show barely shows the main lead's kiss. So why was that the case? Well, a lot of people argued, and James Somerton echoed, that the reason Yuri on Ice wasn't—
because Japan is still a very homophobic country. Despite what you and Talking Movie Bubbles say. So, like, I said that on a stream, that Japan is a homophobic country, you know, the country where same-sex marriage is not legal, and same-sex couples can't even adopt children. So I said, it's a homophobic country. Talking Movie Bubbles, who is an ant bootlicker who likes to hang out in my chat, ran off and told him about this, and Anthony's response was, but Tokyo has the biggest pride parade in East Asia. That somehow means homophobia isn't happening, I guess, because, oh, but they have pride parades, guys. So it's impossible for homophobia to be in the culture. Sure. Like, teasing gay stuff is fine as long as you know homo it at the end in most anime. It's like Fruits Basket. Fruits Basket, I hate the term queer, but what else do you call it but queer baiting? Fruits Basket does a lot of that, where it teases same-sex romances and then no homos everybody by the end. Even Yuki's very flamboyant older brother. Apparently he's straight too. Yes. Bubbles has been surprisingly absent for most of the stream.
More explicit with its relationship was because it was airing on a family television time slot. And because of that, Japanese television will not let them show Yuri or Victor hold hands or kiss or whatever, even though they do hold hands and kiss in the show. This is dumb though, because A, there were gay shows on those time slots also, but Yuri on Ice didn't debut on a family time slot.
But it was an actually gay show. It wasn't like, oh, I love you even though you are a boy, but I am actually a straight person otherwise. You know, it doesn't have those caveats that a lot of these no-homo shows do. It was an actual gay romance was probably the issue, Anthony.
Didn't debut on a family time slot. It debuted at 2:30 in the morning. So, that doesn't apply. Unless, you know, the 10-year-olds are really getting up at 2:30 to watch an ice skating anime, this doesn't really hold much water. But that said, many shows do get shuffled around due to content.
Would you care to explain why there are 4 different girls in your room?
A great example of this is Interspecies Reviewers, a show that goes far beyond fanservice.
Anthony's favorite anime, the Gooner anime.
And straight up into fantasy erotica. Originally aired on Tokyo MX, Sun TV, and KBS Kyoto. However,
I wouldn't even call it fantasy erotica, it's just set in a really generic-ass looking fantasy setting. Like, just to have monster girls. Like, the setting doesn't even fucking matter.
Tokyo and Sun both removed the show from airwaves the moment it started airing because it was deeply inappropriate for their time slots. Otherwise, to watch the show, you had to either watch it on either a satellite station or an anime-centric cable channel. Thankfully, distribution—
You gotta love how the 1,000-year-old elf looks like a little boy, too, huh?
—was picked up by the Gifu broadcasting system. At the same time slot, Yuri on Ice occupied several years earlier at 2.
Wow, an anime about 2 guys fucking a bunch of chicks in brothels was treated better than a mild gay romance. Why do you think that is, Anthony? Could it be because misogyny and homophobia are very popular all over the world, including in Japan? Could it be that?
30 a.m.
Someplace with girls we've never tried before? Yeah, I'm with you.
Interspecies Reviewers and Yuri on Ice. Same time slot. There's no reason they couldn't have shown them have more of a relationship. I don't know what to tell you. But still, this explains why some shows—
You don't know what to tell me? You could tell me Japan is homophobic, and that's a very good example of it.
do have to change between adaptations, because if you want a certain time slot, gotta do that. And even if you have a late night time slot, there's still some things you can't show on TV. What can be aired there is different what could be aired anywhere else. Standards are kind of weird though, of course, as you do. It's also important to note that not all changes between anime and manga are a bad thing, or administered by restriction. Sometimes it's a creative choice. Cardcaptor Sakura, a show aimed at young teens. Famously, the Cardcaptor Sakura...
Why are we including Cardcaptor Sakura in a video about fan service, Anthony? Are you just gonna talk about the girl who, wants to marry her teacher? Is that where you're going with this? It wasn't even fan service, that was a shoujo trope.
Anime altered a love story from the original manga between the characters Rika and Tarada. Now, who are Rika and Tarada?
So, basically, this girl wants to promise herself to her teacher as his future wife. And yeah, that's pretty problematic, but it is a romantic shoujo trope, and arranged marriages are not unusual in Japan. So, this is kind of a cultural thing. The anime definitely made it less weird. I think the anime made it more like the teacher was kind of humoring her, and not that they're destined to be together as the manga kind of implies. So it's not fan service, it's a shoujo romance trope that is incredibly problematic, but is informed by the culture it comes from. So it's a little bit more complicated than what you are saying.
Well, Rika is a 12-year-old girl, and Tarada is her teacher, her adult late 20s teacher. You see where they changed this? And it's not just it wasn't the dub. It was the dub also changed it too, but it was at a fundamental level. It got altered at the animation studio. You see why they changed this? It's kind of a big deal. Now the anime has implications that Rika has a crush on her teacher. A little one-sided thing. That's okay. But in the manga, it's not a one-sided thing at all. It's a mutual romance. They get engaged and everything, and it's framed as a good thing. Jesus Christ, this manga. But it's not just big things like that, but even smaller fan services.
So you know why a 12-year-old girl getting engaged to a grown man is weird. But you called rape porn where a 15-year-old girl is just raped back-to-back in multiple rape scenes while she hago faces and enjoys it. And you said that's what you want more fan service to be like, Anthony. He's gonna talk about Metamorphosis again in this video and emphasize that it's not illegal. So you know it's weird for a 12-year-old girl to be engaged, betrothed to a grown man. But, the rape porn with a 15-year-old girl is fine. Okay.
Gags get changed sometimes.
Yeah, Furuba is also bad for this, because doesn't the goth friend fall in love with, the Catboy's dad? Or surrogate dad? Yeah.
Natural part of the medium. It's always been that way. I'm gonna cite an example that YouTuber Mimi Yori does in their video about Pochi the Rock. I'm gonna reference that same video later again. As a scene in the anime K-On! Where...
Why are we talking? Okay, we were talking about Bochi the Rock, which I haven't seen yet, and as far as I know, doesn't have fan service. Now we're talking about K-On!, which the entire thing is to appeal to grown men, having cute, adorable, pure, brain-dead girls playing realistic instruments.
It's in the manga and the anime both. Mio...
Furuba is short for Fruits Basket, sorry, force of habit.
Festival. She trips over the wire of her electric guitar and flashes the entire school body. Yeah, in the manga, they show she falls over and they reveal...
And how old is she, Anthony? And how old is she, Anthony?
No, her underwear. However, in the anime, they cut to a striped bowl of rice. And that's meant to visualize, oh hey, it's the same pattern as her underwear, and it's meant to show what happened without showing you explicitly what happened. This has been big...
We need to know that she was wearing striped underwear.
Part of anime. They do this kind of stuff all the time. Visual gags.
This is just part of anime, sexualizing underage girls. And that's fine, because it's anime! That seems to be his entire argument.
To communicate more than they probably can show. Hell, wanna go further back than that? Remember Dream Hunter Rem, that
Again, I still consider myself an old taku. There's a lot of anime I like, but again, I don't relate to a lot of the new stuff. Like the only thing I am looking forward to is fucking Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
explicit OVA I mentioned at the start of the video. Remember that? The 80s one? Well, that got re-edited in a censored format when the character became popular with kids. And so, kids want to see the show. You can't, though, because the first episode's erotica. So what do? Well, you change it. Yeah, so changes just happen in Japan, and they've happened for years.
Oh, good. They started out with a porno show that sexualizes the underage main character and has a bunch of pictures of brutalized women, and then kids liked it, so they had to change it. How tragic.
But because it was less discussed, you just didn't hear about it. It was all the time, but no one really knew about it because it wasn't widely discussed. But with social media and everything being easily shareable online, people started noticing the changes more and more and more that were always going on. And so if, let's say, an anime adaptation made an alpha from the manga less skimpy, maybe a scene where someone is naked is maybe with a bathing suit or, bra instead of nothing, it'd be a big deal. Such was very...
Look at all the girls in middle school uniforms checking their tits. How charming.
A big deal. Such was very famously the case with Bocchi the Rock, an anime adaptation made by Cloverworks that takes a 4-panel gag manga and makes it into a pretty good full-fledged comedy. It became a big hit among anime fans and Japanese audiences. But among the changes that a subset of people online got really upset about were all the removed cases of fanservice. For example, Bocchi's chest is smaller in the anime, and that's reason enough for nerds online to complain about it for months. Their entire channels
Wow, the anime has better sense than the manga. Amazing.
Devoted to complaining about Bocchi the Rock, an already liked anime changing the size of the main character's chest. Some people have too much free time to worry about this kind of crap, don't they? And mind you, this wasn't television standards making this the case. This was a choice by the creative crew of the anime that was then signed off on, essentially, by the manga creator. This was explicitly discussed by the show's writer, Erika Yoshida, who analyzed how she felt the overt sexualization was kind of a distraction from what made the show so good, that being the comedy. It wasn't needed, and so they altered it, removed it, or reduced how prevalent it was in the narrative.
More recently, an interview with Erika Yoshida was posted to Kaiyo, a Japanese pop culture website, where she talks about her experience working on Bocchi the Rock. And in it, revealed that she and the team purposely cut some scenes sexualizing Bocchi and the other girls from the manga, as she viewed those scenes as just noise. This just...
Yeah, wow, those are good. Yeah, I could see why they cut this shit out to make for, like, an actually better anime. Jesus Christ.
This justification pissed off some people online, and they began accusing Yoshida of censoring the original work.
Don't think female mangaka don't contribute to the pedophilia problem in manga, because they do.
And tarnishing it by forcing it to fit her views.
A certain set of fans got really mad, but ignored how, again, the manga's creator was involved in the process, as is typically the case with Japanese anime, and that she had enthusiasm for the adaptation. Changes and all. She liked it. So the creator liked it. Bocchi isn't about fan service or nudity. They're just there in certain scenes in the manga, so you can get rid of them and nothing really changes. This isn't a case like a show that's heavy.
Yeah, it's good, Anthony. This is a good thing. It's like, wow, the show is better when we don't sexualize the underage girl. Amazing! And now he's comparing that directly to interspecies reviewers getting canned by Funimation because it's just porn. Okay.
Every fan service, that's the main appeal, getting removed. No, there was a lot going on here. It's extra. And if you got rid of it, the show's still good. Now, there are some shows out there that if you got rid of the fan service, you lose the core appeal of the show.
Today's the date, shall be mine! Give me your love nectar! Somebody help me!
What is this?
This begs the question, why not make a better story? But there's stuff like interspecies reviewers where the content that is shocking is the appeal. It's style as such.
It's not shocking, retard. It's just softcore porn to sell uncensored DVDs to otaku perverts.
Substance, opposed to style over substance. But I think the major problem here is that channels like, say, Chibi Reviews, who create short content on...
Bro. Pot calling the fucking kettle black here. You just gushed about a bunch of anime with underage fan service and keep promoting a rape porn manga about a 15-year-old girl as your ideal top-level fan service. And you're talking about chibi fucking reviews. You're the same person.
Responding to every case of censorship and controversy in the anime field, they kept talking about this topic because it was an easy topic to make videos about. Every day there'd be new, oh, look at this panel and it's different from this shot in the anime, and you have them side by side, you see the differences. Like, yeah, okay, that's a change, not a big deal. They used to be resigned to trivia websites, about like Yandere Dev's old website comparing Vazefon to Evangelion, you know, nothing important like that, but now becomes a full channel content slot. But the thing that's so odd is...
your top 10 list of anime is also Yandere Dev's top 10 list, Anthony!
Is that, again, what he's doing is he conflates Bocchi the Rock changing the main character's boob size with actual real censorship. And what that ends up doing is it takes your eye off the ball. It says this minor case of one show changing something with the consent of all parties involved is just the same as the government coming in to tell you what you can and can't watch. And that's where I come in, because I don't think that first thing matters all that much. Creative choices are
That's where I come in. I can be a bigger gooner than Chibi.
Creative choices, there's reasons they do things. Complain about TV, practice, and standards, you have a big deal about it. But the government coming into your home to tell you what you can and can't watch, that's where I start to get worried. As well as when private companies bully other...
That's where I start to get worried, because if they looked at half the books I had on my shelf, I'd probably be in jail.
Company into conformity to their standards.
You know, like
practice.
the incest volleyball book you have over here, Anthony.
For profit, I guess. There are actual problems facing fan service heavy material, as well as any material that has anything erotic, even mildly, in it.
I just passed my new law decreeing that all geeky dweebs be thrown in prison.
Corporations and governments are pushing back against all of these. Noticeably, payment processors like Visa and MasterCard have, over the last several months, begun pushing back on...
Why didn't he just make a separate video about this? What does this have to do with fucking anime fan service? Oh, I can't get my Gooner rape games on itch.io anymore. This is terrible.
...distributions for anything containing erotic material.
I think the idea of these big companies, these credit card companies, these processing companies, really kind of dictating what people do, essentially creating their own laws, is a thing for massive concern.
Now, this is well known, this part. During December 2025, the Australian organization known as Collective Shout pressed Visa and MasterCard to deny service to itch.io and Steam for their collection
These
of erotic games.
goddamn women
Both
worried
began
about
to
rape
bend the pressure from
content.
Visa and MasterCard, removing or delisting games from their site that didn't meet a specific set of standards and criteria. This included several visual novels from Japan, as well as games with LGBTQIA themes and furry games. Odd how often those later two get conflated with, like, erotica? You know, they're not...
Well, a lot of course, furry games are usually erotica. I mean, people who are in denial that furry is a very sexual subculture are in denial. But, like, yeah, they overshot, but, like, can we talk about, like, the underlying problem of the proliferation of, like, rape porn video games? Where the appeal is the rape and the dehumanization? And the fetishization of that, with all the things you deny that Metamorphosis does?
Really... I digress, again, but it's weird, I don't know. But the point is, a lot of stuff that was possibly scandalous got taken off the shelves, the digital shelves, so to speak. However, this is not a new development from Visa or MasterCard, because they did that last year, too. They denied complete service and payment to Japanese websites that were selling explicit material in order to protect their brand. That being Visa and MasterCard's brand.
How could he get his incest volleyball manga now?
With associated with anything dirty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just on that point about Visa and MasterCard being successful businesses, I think you figured it out, haven't you?
And customers matter to our business?
Maybe is it because that Visa and MasterCard are effectively monopolies? They control 80% of the market? This is classic monopolistic behavior, and yet your testimony here today is you don't want any competition.
And this was confirmed by Seton Kitney, the president of Visa Worldwide Japan. Many Japanese websites don't allow payment.
Yeah, it is a problem that the biggest payment processors in the world can basically control all commerce. But that's like a wider conversation. It's not just about your fucking rape porn, buddy.
Processors from Visa or MasterCard anymore at all, opting instead for direct payment from your bank. This includes Nico Nico, Melon Books, Torano Anna, DLS Site, Fontia, Manga Library Z, and Fanzia, among many others, have made it so you can't pay with Visa anymore because Visa keeps bullying them in what they can sell. Companies are preventing you from buying this for yourself, and it's just getting...
I keep telling them not to make books of 15-year-old girls getting raped. It's unreasonable.
Worse, because what they are preventing you from buying, it's unclear what constitutes as inappropriate to them. It could be something mild. The language is so vague, you can't even determine it.
Because Visa is indeed very much restrictive, and what they're saying is that they're not...
And again, he's citing passport bro legal mindset. Wonderful.
Putting in filter terms, but they are saying they're looking at the type of content.
And to make matters more frustrating, government bodies have begun censoring anime as well, and instilling legal punishments for explicit material. And it's not just America, either. You've probably seen an article over the time of someone being a very explicit manga and arrested for it, or being stopped at the airports for it, and that happened.
As we said about Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid before, there is a underaged little dragon girl in there who gets sexualized, and a human elementary school-age girl who is super horny for her. So, yep, just pointing that out again.
People have had to explain purchasing Metamorphosis in Canada, for example. And that's explicit, that's extreme, but it's also not illegal. It's a very dark...
It's not illegal, guys. I can own it. It's not illegal. It's okay. It's on my shelf, guys. It's not illegal that I have this 15-year-old girl rape porn, guys. It's not illegal. I need you to know it's not illegal for me to have this. Guys, it's very important that you know that. That it's not illegal.
It's extreme, but it's also not illegal. It's a very dark manga, but it's not illegal to own it by any standards of the imagination. And yet, because of the shocking content within, it draws attention, you know? But there are cases where they're solidifying laws in place that can make it a crime to even own mainstream manga. A lot of people by this point know about Texas Senate Bill 20, which made it a felony for the promotion of obscene visual material explicitly containing characters who appear underage. The language is vague. And it's vague on purpose, because it contains everything from CSAM to Dragon Ball. So My Hero Academia and Daisy's Destruction are both the same under the language of this law. And you may—
that's an awful extreme fucking statement there. Oh, this law basically makes My Hero Academia and Daisy's Destruction on the same level. If you don't know what Daisy's Destruction is, it is a literal snuff porn film in which, toddler girls were basically raped to death and tortured to death. The vile pedophile who made it went to jail. Why on earth would you create a scale with My Hero Academia on one side and Daisy's Destruction on another? Jesus fucking Christ, you are Lio Convoy. My god.
May think people overreacting. Well, at least one store already has taken Dragon Ball off their shelves in compliance in advance with this law. Now, thankfully, no one's been dragged into court in Texas for their Dragon Ball manga collection, but the future remains unclear. It's possible something may happen down the line.
So this thing you're saying hasn't even happened and there's no examples of it, but we have to fear monger that they're gonna take your 15-year-old girl rape porn away. Okay.
This law is enforced, and when that happens, it will create a cataclysm. It will impact the entire industry because a lot of anime distributors come from Texas. Texas is a hotbed of anime production historically. A lot of anime gets sold there. There's a lot of anime fans there. Mexico has a lot of anime fans too, and they're on the border of Texas. So you can see a cascading impact.
Okay, anime dubbing being focused in Texas and anime being popular in Mexico have, like, nothing to do with each other, Anthony!
Internationally, potentially, from this happening. But you might be thinking, oh, it's just America. In Japan, this won't have any impact. Well, think again, because this push, it's in Japan too. They are anime that are just outright banned in Japan. The greatest example of this is, of course, Shoujo Tsubaki, an infamous independent animated film that, due to its disturbing content, was banned in Japan and most countries around the world. The reason we even—
It was banned in most countries around the world. Oh, good. What? I don't know what this is. What are you gonna defend about it?
Have a physical copy of it today, and it's not lost media, is thanks to France, of all places, where it became popular in the film
Of course the French would preserve something perverted.
festival circuit and was distributed by French companies, specifically under the name Midori. You might have heard of it from TikTok. But more recently, Japan's far-right party, Sansetsu, has taken steps to further emphasize their various points. In July of 2025, Sansetsu devoted a section on their official website detailing that they saw anime, manga, and games as a cultural asset, claiming that the value of these books and shows were not based on how much they made, but rather how it promoted their culture. And at this party sought to use—
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but, like, can we talk about the pedophilia problem in it?
the Agency of Cultural Affairs to ensure all manga and games functioned as a healthy cultural development. What does that even mean? Well, the far-right party aims to control and censor the anime industry, to use it, to manipulate it, to further their cultural objectives. But
these far-right people who say that anime and games are cultural output of Japan just want to control it. Did they say anything about censorship? Only just that they were going to promote, like, you know, good, well-made, sensible things?
That party's not in charge right now.
So basically he's saying if you're against sexualizing teenage characters in anime, you're basically right-wing. No, he's not siding with the right-wingers. He's saying it bad because they're right-wing, that they want to crack down on the fucking degeneracy in anime and manga.
Rather, Sanae Takehachi is the current Prime Minister of Japan and is part of the liberal Democratic Party, the same party that
women are ruining your porn for you, I know, right?
Of Hina's creator is a part of, not the Sansetsu Party. However, despite the name, the LDP is a pretty conservative group. It remains to be seen if Takehachi does push for censorship of anime, but let's be honest here.
So you don't even know if they're gonna censor anime. You're just like, well, they're that country's right wing, so they're probably exactly like our right wing, so they're probably gonna like do hella censorship everywhere. Just because I don't think you actually know much about Japanese politics. I mean, I don't either, but like you're really burger braining this. Like, you're just like, oh, conservatives in other countries must be exactly like American conservatives, because why wouldn't they be? America is the center of the universe.
Sometimes, someone so culturally opposed to feminism and LGBTQI rights, as well as actively supporting revising historical records.
I never want to hear you talk about feminism ever again, Anthony. After the shit you've said here. Just like I never want to hear you say Vivian Madrano fetishizes rape ever again. After saying Metamorphosis is meaningful and doesn't fetishize the trauma and is what you'd like to see more anime fan service be. I never want to hear either of those words or phrases leave your mouth ever again.
Records of Japan's history surrounding World War II, they're not exactly the type that stays out of the
I don't know why we're zooming in on him. The editing makes no fucking sense. It's so obnoxious.
For very long. Eventually they will push back, or eventually companies will bend the knee to conform to the agenda presented by the Prime Minister, to further fit their perspective. But then again, this group is also...
So this is just his paranoid fantasy that the Japanese Conservative Party is going to take his 15-year-old anime porn away.
Back in censorship before. There were laws that Japan tried pushing to censor certain types of explicit material in Japan, and the LDP is heavily responsible for voting against said measures, including laws that would have made CSAM a bigger deal in Japan. As many remember, the creator of Rurouni Kenshin got a slap on the wrist for his...
Yeah, almost like pedophilia is a gigantic fucking problem over there, and that's reflected in a lot of anime and manga. But you just make excuses for it.
Collection of that. So I don't really trust the LDP to have the best interests in mind for that topic. You know, let's change gears. It's getting a little depressing. But there's another element to this whole story, another side to this that people are not talking about. Do audiences even want fan service anymore?
I wish I could hear what they were laughing so much about.
I don't think a lot of audiences do want fan service anymore. A lot of people find it trashy.
They were laughing about how bad you are at life.
I mean, yes, I know some of you do, but do audiences in general who consume anime want it? Well, that's trickier. You know, that's more scandalous than, say, maybe there's a reason why certain anime change.
Yoko from Gurren Lagann is also 16. She also didn't have to be. I don't know what their obsession is with making main characters teenagers when they don't have to. I mean, I know it's a show aimed at teenagers, but, like, if you're gonna make her sexy like that, like, could she be of age, at least?
The clothing of certain characters. Maybe the companies are trying to market to an audience who increasingly doesn't like fan service. Netflix has confirmed that half of its user base has watched anime at some point. The anime market is pivoting to include Western streamers and distributors as a major asset of its market value. And it's not just America or Europe, but China, India, Brazil's a big market. Italy's...
I'm sorry to inform you that Yoko Gurren Lagann is 16. She is an adult by the end of the series, at least.
The big market. Africa. A lot of countries and a lot of cultures are really in love with anime, and the Japanese media is realizing, hey, we gotta promote to them too. We gotta get them involved, because they're paying customers. They buy the stuff, and they have to keep going.
Plenty of anime makers do not give a shit about Westerners at all. Some anime does try to appeal to us, but a lot of them? No, they're making material for the Japanese populace. They don't even think about us, Anthony.
They have to keep making their bank. Before, they were a small part. America in the 2000s and 90s were not a huge market for anime, but now they're one of the biggest. And so they have to appeal to that demographic to keep selling manga. And while some creators have pushed back on this Americanization of anime, studios are noticing that that's a big part of the market share. And for better or worse, a lot of Western audiences don't want all that erotic stuff in their shows. Increasingly, they become more critical of it. And many have actually said, explicitly, they think there's too much of it in there.
Oh, Anthony's fans already call me red-pilled and a chud and a conservative. Because I don't agree with them that sexualizing teenagers is cool.
And it turns them off the product because they see it too often. A recent study done by the UCLA Center for Scholars and Storytellers found that teens and young adults, Gen Z specifically, want more animation. They want more animation and less erotic content in their films. 48.4% said there was too much sexual content in...
I mean, it makes sense. Millennials were rebelling against puritanical culture, especially in America. So, yeah, we liked a lot of in-your-face, shocking, racy stuff, and we liked swearing. That's why most of us just swear as a matter of course. And now the Zoomers have come along, and they're going to be the opposite of us. And they're more puritanical. That's just how things go.
Media nowadays, which itself is seeing a decline in how much is in the films on a regular basis. We're getting way fewer nude scenes today than we did 20 years ago, especially in mainstream cinema. Hell, most Disney films used to have at least one kiss on the face. Now, you barely have hand-holding. So, you see...
Because we have intimacy coordinators and stuff like that. Remember that story I told toward the beginning of stream about Last Tango in Paris, where the 48-year-old director just sexually assaulted the 19-year-old actress on camera to get the reaction he wanted out of her? Because he wanted her to actually look humiliated and not be acting. And he doesn't regret doing it, even though she hated him for the rest of her life and said she felt raped. Yeah, it's almost like male directors can't get away with shit like that anymore, Anthony, and that's why you see less, like, booby scenes in movies, because young actresses can't be, you know, coerced into it.
Seeing a gradual decline across the board. Anime may be more popular than ever, but fan service is not driving people to it. Again, going back to Chibi Reviews and those guys, you see these culture critics going to Twitter and saying, ooh, this guy didn't like the fan service in the show, as though it's a big news story next to government crackdowns on content.
You act like you're any different than Rev and Chibi. You're into all the same shit they are, anime-wise, for fuck's sake.
But, like, honestly, maybe that's the voice that the companies are listening to because they're the loud, maybe not the louder voices, but they're the more common voices. You know? Who's buying all this? Who's watching all this?
He was just... What the fuck was that the point of showing that?
Fan service in the show, as though it's a big news story next to government crackdowns on content. But, like, honestly, maybe that's the voice that the companies are listening to because they're the louder.
This is making fun of Chinese censorship.
Maybe not the louder voices, but they're the...
So for whatever reason, China mandates that blood needs to be turned white. And yes, it can look very awkward. That is a common joke. But why are you flashing that up on screen while talking about something completely different?
More common voices, you know? Who's buying all this? Who's watching all this? The massive market share or the smaller niche market share? There will always be shows for that niche, but maybe the reason that these other shows aren't having as much in that it's explicit is because they're trying to appeal to that larger demographic. And that's becoming more prominent the bigger the audience becomes.
Or people are just getting sick of having borderline pornography in their entertainment when they can easily seek out endless amounts of pornography if they wanted to. Back when pornography was harder to get, and it was more shameful to admit to even looking at it, yeah, having titillating shit in media was more appealing. Now, it's kind of like, okay, I just want a normal fucking story, instead of being inundated with hypersexual shit all the time. That, yeah.
And even in Japan, let's be honest here, audiences from the 80s are different from audiences in the 2020s, you know?
How was that animation?
And I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing, because I think a lot of moments in anime, both modern and older, are elevated due to its frank discussion of erotic media. And it's not just, you know, me, a cynical person, saying that it's getting less sexual. Look to the anime veterans. Yoshiyuki Tomino has made some choice comments about stuff like Your Name being...
A bunch of dirty old men don't like that there's less teenagers fucking in anime these days. Oh no!
Far, far, far too clean in its depictions of romance. It's a trend across the board. But maybe there's something else going on here. I've been an anime fan for a very long time, and I've seen some wild shows, and some of them are really great, but a lot feel the same. They feel repetitive.
In your last video, you admitted you saw certain things you shouldn't have when you were far too young, and I think it broke your brain.
The cycle continues and continues. Unless it's extremely chaotic or distinct, it becomes white noise to me. I'm more moved by character moments than that further the plot and ideas of the narrative than I am animation loops I've seen 100 times at this point, and done better in the past. There are moments in shows like Dan and My Dress Up Darling that kind of incorporate fan service with plot and characterization, emphasizing the confusing and exciting times characters are going through when they're first coming to terms with their interests in people in that way.
The confusing and exciting time the teenage girl has almost getting raped at the beginning of Dandadan? Yeah, okay. We see you really like teenage girls getting raped, Anthony.
I think, personally, a great scene in My Dress Up Darling that is a fan service scene that really helps further the plot is it's in the first season, so at the end of the first season, and it's where Marin and Gojo, they spend an evening
15 years old, guys. 15 years old in this anime. 15 years old. 15 years old. Just pointing that out.
Marin and Gojo, they spend an evening at a love hotel. You know, hijinks ensue and all that. And it allows us to kind of see these characters who are...
I think this is usually when he adds in something in editing. He uses Krim's drawings of him.
Definitely friends with each other and are flirting with the idea of becoming more than that, and their tensions between the two of them. Their shyness, the insecurities. There's a great little moment where Gojo grabs Marin's waist, and the visual communicates how the little touch sends a new sensation throughout her whole body, throughout Marin's whole body. But it's quick and short, and it's done through visual short.
15 years old, everybody. He's talking about a 15-year-old girl getting a shudder through her body when a boy touches her in a love hotel. 15 years old, just like the girl who stars in Metamorphosis. The explicit, unceasing rape porn, he said all anime fan service should be more like.
Shorthand that communicates exactly what they're trying to say very quickly. And it focuses more on the characters' faces, their reaction to this moment of touch. It shows us just enough to tell us what's going on, but it focuses more
Except it focused on her ass and her waist, and we don't see any of his body.
How the characters feel. It's a character moment rather than a fan service moment, but fan service is sprinkled throughout the whole scene. Some fan service sequences.
He really thinks melodrama is like super emotional or something. What the fuck?
Feel voyeuristic, which I think can also be to
and here his fans are saying, I can't interpret media well.
Show's benefit. And a good example of this is the anime Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is, I think, a very voyeuristic series.
Yep,
It's got the whole show told repeatedly.
Yeah,
lots of fan service on the way. Next episode, there's gonna be fan service, and like, okay, you prep yourself for it. You expect your cheesy guy. Gynax was known for this. They're known for the Gynax bounce after all. So another Gynax show promising fan service. Like, yeah, okay, we'll get to it. And you're waiting.
Another 15-year-old.
And, Daikon, you think, Daikon 4 and 3 had all this stuff, Gunbuster, all this stuff. You think it's going to be something similar to that. It's teasing, and it's teasing, and it's teasing, and you're waiting, and you're getting more uncomfortable, and then you get what you asked for, but you realize it's not what you wanted. The first hint of it comes in a scene where Shinji walks into Rei's apartment. Early in the show, it's the first, I think it's the 5th episode.
He's actually going to show this scene. Very deep and meaningful anime, guys, as there was actually deep plot reasons for this to happen.
To deliver this nerve badge to her. It's like a company, an organization they work for. And he's in the apartment, and it's completely minimalistic. There's no sense of personality here. It's like a broken set of Shinji's dad's glasses on a countertop. And he looks, he's going, why? He's here. He picks them up, he looks at them, and walks Rei, who's just come out of the shower, bathing, whatever. And, it's...
Who had to be naked for this. The 14-year-old clone of his mother had to be naked for this scene, because... reasons. It's deep. It's plot, guys. It's deep, guys. You wouldn't get it. Look at Anthony glaring at you. You wouldn't get it, guys. It's really deep, I promise.
It's a teenage boy in a room with a girl he knows who's completely naked, except for a towel on. And the scene what's so uncomfortable is it's shot in almost complete silence. There's all the sounds of mechanical noises outside, and you can see Shinji's discomfort.
And it was very necessary for her bras and panties to fly everywhere as Shinji lands on top of her naked body. This was extremely necessary for this scene and for the plot, guys. It's deep. You just wouldn't get it.
It's like the same scene with Marin and Gojo from My Mistress of Darling. There's tension. It's uncertainty. It's a girl, who he likes. But Rei has no reaction. The only reaction, that's not true. She has one reaction. She's pissed about the glasses being touched. She doesn't care that Shinji...
So this scene is just supposed to tell us she doesn't react to anything. But of course they had to sexually exploit the teenage girl to get that across. It's not just that the grown men working on this wanted to draw boobies or something.
She sees her naked, or falls on top of her, or does all that. She has no outward reaction to it. And it's deeply unsettling. It's deeply uncomfortable. You think, it's a fan service-y scene, you've seen it 100 times, but Rei's lack of a reaction makes it go from, it's a cheesy scene I've seen 100 times before in another anime, to this is actually really disquieting,
And why did her bras and panties need to fly everywhere, Anthony? Why was that necessary for this scene? Maybe it's not as deep as you think it is, Anthony.
Don't feel comfortable with this. Something's off here. It's one of many early hints that there's something deeply wrong with Rei, based on how she reacts like this.
It's wrong because she was supposed to go, Kia hentai, and slap him, right?
Priorities are. And it's a great moment of feeling like you're walking in something uninvited, but also advancing characterization in a way it's really compelling. Another example of fan service being used to promote an uncomfortable idea is in the modern show, Dandadan. This is the one that's kind of voyeuristic, but not really. And again,
Dandadan, the show I haven't watched because it opens with a graphic rape scene of a teenage girl that is definitely drawn in a fetishy way. God damn it, Japan.
We're going to compare to Evangelion later too. We have more Evangelion discussion as well. But in Dandadan, we see the main characters pursued by aliens who abduct them and want to
And you're really not seeing how fetishy this is. Again, this is like a 15, 16-year-old girl. This is totally extremely necessary, I'm sure. That this is extremely necessary, guys. It's deep. You wouldn't get it, guys. It's so deep.
Who abduct them and want to steal their bananas, as the aliens put it so delicately. This results in several scenes of the aliens who look like Japanese businessmen, suits and all, very almost like caricatures of them, trying to take the characters and exploit their bodies for their own purposes. These scenes, however, they start off voyeuristic.
And the way it's shot definitely doesn't put a ton of emphasis on the teenage girl's body or anything, right?
You're seeing these characters who you like in a compromised position, but then it ends with an exciting action scene. It always gets turned around in some way to be like some shonen action sequence.
It's okay if a girl gets raped or almost raped as long as she beats the guys up after. That makes it okay that we were getting our jollies off on this.
So the characters take power of a situation that's out of their control.
He didn't show the worst parts of the scene. Like, we see, like, right up her coochie. It's crazy.
And turn it around on these aliens, in some way, and to varying extent. And, let's be honest, it's a well-known fact that Japanese businessmen in Japan have been known to grope women, especially young girls. There's signs in every train warning people not to do it, as well as reporting it if
Yeah, are we gonna talk about the misogyny of that at all, Anthony? And how that could be reflected in this media? You're not even gonna mention it?
you see it. And, there's something to be said there for a show about teenagers looking at people who harmed them in real life, taking power for themselves out of a situation.
He thinks this is empowering when she's in her fucking underwear after her almost rape scene was shot like a porno. He thinks this is empowering. So yeah, I guess that's why he likes I Spit on Your Grave. Well, it's okay that we enjoyed the graphic rape of this woman. As long as she beats the guys up after, it's totally fine.
Situation makes him feel powerless. There's something to be said there. That's empowering, but also uncomfortable. And that wouldn't happen if you censored everything. But I want to go back to Evangelion again, because there's one scene in particular that I think, well, actually, there's two scenes I want to talk about with the same character. And that's a scene where you get this sense of build-up to something, and you get the sense of powerlessness, but there is no catharsis. It's just discomfort. Throughout the whole show, Misato Katsuragi, she's an adult. The one who's seizing fan service all the time. She flirts and is inappropriate around minors, but you find out that she does this because it's a coping mechanism. She is a traumatized.
She only flirts with underage minors because it's a coping. She only promises sex to a 14-year-old boy to cope, you guys. It's really deep. You just wouldn't get it.
Person who has seen some horrible stuff, and the only way she can process her grief and pain is through hypersexualization. Specifically,
and it's not like the camera doesn't hug her ass constantly. I mean, it's basically a harem between her and the two teenage girls for Shinji. It's basically set up like a harem.
Either presenting herself as a flirty, carefree person, or by intimacy with people like Kaji, her male love interest. And there are two scenes in the show where we see them make love. And the first time, both times towards the end of the show, after teasing this relationship between them. First time, it's at the end of episode 20, Shinji just got absorbed by AV Unit 1 and got burst out of him, burst out of her, it's a whole thing. But Misato and Kaji afterwards have a moment of intimacy, a private moment together. And the camera lingers off the couple. It lingers on like the corner of the room.
Yeah, it doesn't show the sex at all, almost like this isn't fan service and it's just part of the plot, Anthony. Does he think any sex scene is fan service? Even when it's, like, actually vital to the plot? Like, this isn't fan service, this is just a scene between two characters, and we know that they're fucking off screen, but it isn't shown. Like, it's about their relationship, it's not about the sex, that's why it's shot this way. Also probably to save on animation, but it is very arty.
Mirror, and you're left in almost complete silence. There's no music, it's just you hear the sounds of sheets rustling, and that's it. And you feel like you've walked in on something that you shouldn't.
And these characters are both fucking adults, but also, how is this fan service? Like, an actually tasteful sex scene that actually has a purpose in the plot is not fan service.
You feel like you're peeking through the windows of something you really shouldn't be looking at, and you don't get a good look at anything. All you get is the impression of what's happening. You know what's going on, but you see nothing, and it's uncomfortable, it's tense, it's not pleasant, doesn't even.
It's not uncomfortable. It's kind of just putting you in the atmosphere. Like, they have this sexual relationship, but it's a little cold. At least that's what I got from this scene. I mean, again, it's been a while since I've seen Ava, but that's what I got from this scene, that it is supposed to indicate to us the detachment and the coldness of their relationship. Like, even though they fuck each other, they're not actually that close. You know?
It seems like a relief after all the horror in the rest of the episode. You're lingering there, and it's deeply uncomfortable stuff. And it's a disturbing scene. It really has something unlike anything else, I think. But then there's the second time you see it.
Why is it? How? You're disturbed? You're disturbed by intimacy between two characters who are kind of detached from each other? But you're not disturbed by, like, 7 chapters of wall-to-wall rape scenes of a 15-year-old girl in Metamorphosis? Where the fuck are your priorities?
Them make love. And that's at the end. There's a sequence in Evangelion called the Instrumentality Sequence. The Instrumentality Project, this whole thing's being teased with the whole show. And at the end of the series, characters' experiences blend. And they're...
Yeah, this is Shinji being angry that Misato actually has sex. He's, like, jealous.
Other people are able to witness every thought you've had hidden your whole life. All your vulnerability.
He's, like, both jealous and disgusted that she has sex as an adult woman.
all your secrets. And so Misato and Shinji have a moment where each of them sees into the other's heart. And Shinji sees Misato's memory of Kaji in college where they made love. And you see this on two angles, depending on what version of the ending you're watching. If you're watching the end of Evangelion, the movie version of this scene, you see Shinji watching the scene happen. And it's always shot, but you just see their feet. You don't really see anything explicit.
Yeah, he's disturbed by, like, missionary sex between two adults, but not the wall-to-wall rape scenes of Metamorphosis done to a 15-year-old girl. Interesting.
And you see Shinji kind of dealing with this uncomfortable scene, and Misato saying, this is a part of me. You have to understand this is who I am. This, that, and the third. In the anime ending, though, I think it's really interesting. The original series ending, you just cut to Misato looking at Shinji, looking over her, and her screaming.
Yeah, because they ran out of fucking budget, bro.
Screaming in horror over it. Her feeling profoundly humiliated.
I would say watch Eva, the original, as, like, it's a piece of history. Watch it objectively. I mean, again, I don't really like it, but I respect its place in anime history.
Vulnerable, as though she's, not just, like, angry, but, like, deeply hurt and afraid that she'll be judged for him seeing her like this. It's intensely voyeuristic and intensely disturbing. This is not a scene that makes you feel good. It's a scene that makes you feel depressed. You feel miserable watching from both angles because you're seeing people at their most vulnerable, being...
Yeah, because it's a bunch of fucking navel-gazing by the pretentious, depressed director.
Examined clinically. And it's upsetting. This is how this can be done artfully. This sequence doesn't show you anything explicit, but you know exactly what's going on, and it's deeply upsetting. It's witnessing voyeurism, both from the perspective of the voyeur and watching the voyeur voyeuring, And that communicates a lot. But what about ordinary fan service? We're not talking about heavy stuff, like just fun stuff. Well, that's different, but,
Kill la Kill's fan service actually has a purpose. It is a commentary on the very thing.
As you get older, your perspective on that changes. I'll give you a personal example. I recently decided to rewatch Ranma 1/2. I watched the Netflix remake season 1 before the new show, and I thought I want to watch more before the season comes out, so I'll watch the old stuff again too. And these characters, like these goofy goobers, they get into over-the-top silly hijinks. They're fun and silly, and it makes you feel warm and nostalgic. But when I'm watching it now as an adult, it feels different than when you were a kid. When you were a kid, these characters were your age. I read Ranma when I was like 13, 14, and so I was the age of the characters in that story, and so you feel like, oh, I can relate to this. This is a intimate thing I can feel connected to. But watching it as an adult, you're like, oh, it's like you almost have like a parental kind of a parent looking after these kids. You have a sense of like paternal, like.
There's like bare boobs in the 80s Ranma half in the manga and the anime, and he's like, no, I feel parental toward these topless girls now. Okay.
Affection, where you're like, oh, you want to protect these poor kids,
and yet you're defending fucking My Dress Up Darling, where it's a 15-year-old girl in skimpy outfits with the camera hugging her ass. Like,
these kids are so sweet, and it's different. Then you feel like secondhand embarrassment for it. And when you're a kid, when they get embarrassed, you know what they're going through. You feel that embarrassment because you're living through it actively. Adolescence is a rough time. It's full of changes. It's full of your body altering, your perspectives changing. And so that's relevant. That's recent. When you're an adult watching it, though, that's the past. You've processed all that. You come to terms.
No, Ranma is fun. I said before, Ranma was one of my first manga. But my favorite joke in Ranma half is when Ryoga and Moose are trying to navigate their way off a mountain. Ryoga has a catastrophically bad sense of direction, and Moose is so nearsighted he's practically blind, and they were gonna work together to get off a mountain. You can imagine how that went for them.
Of all that. And so it's like you're watching your stupid children, and you feel like a nice warm bond towards them. It's different. There's a spectrum from collecting doujinshi to getting angry when anime adaptations make slightly less revealing outfits. There's a growing subset of people who get angry, who are my age, who get angry that the fan service aimed for teenagers is changing. I don't get that. I really don't.
So the fan service is different in the recent remake than it was in the 1980s, yes.
It doesn't. I don't understand why you're so angry about shows choosing to make something different for a demographic that is shifting, that is different. You are no longer the demographic that's aimed for. That's aimed for teenagers. It's their way of processing very complicated feelings.
I mean, Ranma half is basically a fucking shitpost. I mean, it does not take itself seriously.
When you're 20, 30, like, you have to look at it differently, because you're different.
No, I love Ryoga. Like, you could challenge him to a fight, and he'd be like, yeah, meet me here by sunrise, and he's, like, running the wrong direction and is 3 states away.
Person. You're no longer the target demographic. And there's stuff for adults that has that, just read Black Lagoon, read Hellsing, read, those are old titles too now.
I'm pretty sure those are aimed at teenagers too, buddy. I mean, maybe look at some actual seinen manga, though that's mostly about, like, business rivals and stuff.
Think about it. Read Berserk. And again, very mature, very adult. Got your stuff in there that you want to see. There's whole seinen manga collections and josei manga collections that have adult relationships with adult conflicts, with adult erotica in it. And there's other stories like My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness that deals with the dark side of that as well, very intimately.
Wasn't that chick not even a lesbian? I think I read that somewhere. She was just some bi-curious chick who wrote a really pretentious manga about her life.
And I feel like a lot of these adult creators are so obsessed with what the teens are consuming that they're not reading what they should, dealing with adult relationships with their...
Most anime is aimed at teenagers. There isn't a lot that is actually aimed at adults. What is considered suitable for teenagers is different in Japan than in America, but... Yeah, she did literally lie about being a lesbian, yeah. Fuck off. But yeah, most of the anime you have talked about is aimed at teenagers. So yeah, that you're just getting older, Anthony, but you're still, like, justifying sexualizing teenage characters, and you still said just straight up rape porn is what you'd want more fan service to be, and you like an awful lot of movies where young women are sexually brutalized. So, I'm just saying.
Perspectives. I don't know. Maybe...
Do you think he's like full Hassan, a chud, LARPing as a progressive?
This might change your perspective as an adult.
I don't know about that.
I just find it weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm just out of touch with what people want to see with their fan service shows. I don't know. But I just feel like it's the fan service heavy stuff keeps getting more superficial, too. Like, it's just fan service, and there's no other plot, no characters, no meaning.
Yes, it was always superficial, Anthony. Things can be just fan service. I don't know what he even considers fan service now, because he's calling, like, a sex scene that is actually vital to the plot fan service, when it's not explicit at all, and it's not titillating at all. But he's like, I want fan service to be more than just titillation, but that is all it is, Anthony. Even if we go with the non-sexual definition of fan service, that means something that is just there to please the fans, and doesn't necessarily need to be there. So of course fan service is superficial. By its nature, it is superficial. So what you're telling me is you just want to see more, like, dark, gory rape scenes of teenage girls, is what you're really telling me here. And you're just calling it fan service. Like, what do you even... Like, he didn't give a definition. I would just assume he means titillating sexual content in anime, because that's typically what people mean when they say fan service in regards to anime. But, like, yeah, it's about as good as his understanding of the word cyberpunk. I also have a stream on that, by the way.
Meaningful stuff to it that I want to gravitate towards. Shows have gone to such taboos already that there's nothing they can show you that's shocking anymore. And outside of some shows with morbid fascination to what they're doing.
Do you think something has merit just because it crosses a taboo? Like, do you think that instantly gives something merit? Even when it's just done to shock people? Like, I just want to be as gross and reprehensible as possible to get a reaction. Do you think that actually has instant merit? I don't think so.
It's like, you know, it's whatever. But some of the characters, too, I don't like. Like, a lot of the moe shows, my issue with it, is that you feel like they're passively reactive characters. A lot of moe blobs, they're so passive, and it's so different. You know?
Yeah, because that's the ideal woman in these shows. A passive, brainless woman who is devoted to you and doesn't have any real problems or a deep personality. That is the appeal, Anthony. But you don't want to talk about the misogyny present in a lot of anime, do you?
You know, you look at Mikuru, right, from Haruhi Suzumiya, great example of that. And you compare her to Faye Val.
Yeah, it's like, well, like Dana Brain, it's like Drawn Together. Drawn Together started out as a genuinely funny show. But then, over time, it just started trying to just be as gross as it possibly could for a reaction, and it sucked. Family Guy's the same way. It just starts being as gross as it can just to get a reaction. That doesn't instantly have merit.
Valentine, or Revi, or Misato Katsuragi. And, you know, Mikuru and these other moe blobs, they're so reactive, and they don't have any spine to hold themselves up with these other...
I mean, I think Haruhi did start the moe blobs, but the characters in that show at least have personalities.
Women are like, you know, characters with wants and desires and directive. You get complexity there, and I just feel like we're getting such superficial stuff.
Be careful, if you tell him it's not good to lewd a 15-year-old girl, he'll say you're sex negative, but he'll help SkittyBitty call Octorok a pedophile because he maybe possibly lewds a 17-year-old character.
now. I don't know. I think I'm losing touch a lot with why certain people want to see this stuff, because I know.
Why are we zooming in on his volleyball incest again?
Really am driven to seek it out. And I think as a result of that, my perspective again comes to how these tools can be used to further the quality of writing. How it can be used to tell a stronger story. And so for me,
fan service inherently isn't about story or having something meaningful. It's about servicing the fans with something they want to see that is not necessary to the story, Anthony. So, by its nature, yes, it's going to be superficial. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with having something just there as a wink and a nod to the fans, or having a little bit of cheesecake for titillation? It doesn't have to mean anything deeper than that.
I think,
and again, like sexual themes that are actually vital to the plot are not fan service. This is so confused. Yeah, the editing is terrible.
Can be art. And we're seeing it becoming art. But you gotta consider always the biggest rule of storytelling. Does it service not the fans, but the story? Okay, it's been a while since recording, so bear with me on this one. Or maybe they're gonna take all your figurines and they're gonna dump it in an Iron Mouse body pillow bag or whatever, you know? Or worst case, a Cinder body pillow. I think we have enough Cinder slander on this channel to last a lifetime at this point. That one is, that one's for you gooners.
What is happening, chat? Okay, I think that'll be one of our ending images. Let me see if I can find a funny pause face for him. Actually, maybe we should just do a full screen Anthony pause face. I don't know. Let's see. Let's catch him blinking or something, and then we'll have our last super chats and we will discuss. Come on, give me a funny face. We need to wrap this up, Anthony. He looks a little suspicious there. That's perfect. All right, we're gonna turn the music back on, and I'm gonna have some supers come through, and then we'll wrap up. Thank you for 230 people sticking with me this entire time. If you like what you see, please subscribe. I do streams every week, and I put out videos sometimes too, mostly stream edits. But
7693 sent a super chat. Full Metal Alchemist has fan service. Its name is Armstrong.
True, but I think her new show is a lot more fan servicey, isn't it?
At Week Freak sent a super chat. Spoilers. And doesn't know what fan service
I have arrived at that conclusion as well. Jesus.
At Telus Just Here sent a super chat. Actually about to go watch Obsession LOL. Good luck with this. I'll watch the VOD later.
Oh, Celtic is live soon? I'll send you guys to him.
Super chat. I overthink things I like, including smut, because I desperately want to seem smart. That's basically what Hess saying repeatedly in these stupid
that does seem to be what we're looking at here.
Chat. Chicken ara plaza. Bagok.
Ara bagok! Like that. Ara bagok!
At Hikaru9624 sent a super chat. On an unrelated note, seeing these old cell animations is making me feel nostalgic. We've lost something since moving to computer animation.
Yeah, I know. Like, I even feel that as a digital artist sometimes, because I did start as a traditional artist. Like, you kind of lose that grit that physical media has, you know, and we're always trying to replicate it. It's odd.
At the _space frog sent a super chat. LMFAO ants reusing jokes like Leo Convoy.
I know. He had so many Leo-like takes too.
At S.T. 0PM0SS sent a super chat. Should a 30-plus-year-old married person be this giggly over fan service?
I think it's the Catholic guilt coming through.
At VarishWolf95 sent a super chat. Why do all guys who claim to support women are actually the biggest creeps?
Never trust a guy who calls himself a feminist. Lesson learned today.
At Tyler Preston 699 sent a super chat. Have you seen Gunsmith Cats or Riding Bean? Sigh?
I haven't. I mean, I've seen clips of Gunsmith Cats.
At Week Freak sent a super chat. Ant blames Mo for replacing risky fan service.
Yes, and when most Moe blobs are teenage girls.
At Sawesomeness sent a super chat. I only know about Mo from Travis in No More Heroes.
Oh, where he looks at the lolly girls and goes, Moe.
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat.
Travis is supposed to be a loser, by the way.
I think he's confusing normal girl characters in shoujo as being Mo.
Yeah, like, there's a difference between shoujo series and moe. Moe is aimed at men.
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. Lucky Star is Interlimo. It jokes about and satirizes it more than anything.
That's what I've heard. I never watched that one either. Like I said, I'm a kind of an otaku.
Space Frog sent a super chat. This video is so Lily-like in its thesis and writing.
It really is, and its lack of focus.
At Super Brownie 247 sent a super chat. I hate that he used a clip of Rose and Maiden and put it in the Mo category. It is definitely not. I can tell from your react, sigh, that you have not seen it. I am offended as a doll fan.
I'm sorry, the little robot or doll girl just looked kind of creepy, man.
At S.T. 0PM0SS sent a super chat. Noity has Berserk. What does Berserk have a lot of happening
Yeah,
to women
Berserk
in
has a lot of rape happening to sexually appealing women in it too, and I think that is something you can criticize it for. Even the Eclipse scene, like, you know, with Casca, it's sure that her face is never contorted in pain the way you see on Guts a lot. Make sure she still looks attractive and appealing, even during that scene. And I think you can criticize about it. But guess what? I'm not saying Berserk needs to be thrown away and completely destroyed because of it. I'm not gonna call anybody who likes it as a work of art a rape apologist, you know? But I think that is something you can criticize about it.
At Ed Stevens 5542 sent a super chat. Most visual novels girl. I'm not pretty boy. I think you're pretty girl. Oh my gosh, I love you.
Yeah,
at Ms. Mimi 9086 sent a super chat. Leftists always have to politically rationalize their own consumption habits. It's why all those X things I like, in fiction, fashion, music, etc., is inherently leftist videos
And I hate that, and a lot of these people seem to think that art needs to serve their politics. Like, they take the phrase, all art is political, and they think that means art literally needs to promote their politics like propaganda. All art is political just means that all art is going to be a product of the time in which it was made, inevitably. Even if the artist didn't have anything like that in mind. You know, that's what it means.
At Devil's Work sent a super chat. This vid is insufferable. I need a smoke break.
We went through 2 videos. We went hardcore today, guys, and I promise we'll do fun streams next week.
Wolfwin81 sent a super chat. Saki, the goth friend, doesn't end up with Gyo's dad. In the sequel manga she ends up with someone else, so it was largely a crush and to mess with Gyo.
Okay, that kind of makes sense that she was fucking with Gyo. And everyone else. No, she would do that.
At Direwolf
That was about Fruits Basket.
Sent a super chat. Collective Shout are actually a right-wing group.
Oh, are they? Well, it's such a mess. It's like, look, we have an actual conversation we could be having here, and like all these different groups are fucking ruining it.
At Tyler Preston 699 sent a super chat. The case with Dragon Maid has more to do with it being in the library of elementary school. The parents complained about than the content in it.
Well, yeah, I would think having a comic with big boobed little girls in an elementary school would be a problem for some people, yes.
At Eagle Irvine sent a super chat. Fun fact, this is the same argument Chibi Reviews had to the Texas bill and he crashed out when it passed.
Wow. And Anthony criticized him. Anthony, you are the same person as Chibi Reviews. I don't know how you can't see that.
At the _space, Frog sent a super chat. No truce with the furries.
No truce with the furries! Yeah, I played Disco Elysium finally recently, and I was showing something of the old title was No Truce with the Furies, and somebody misread it as No Truce with the Furries. Or I think they changed the title because people kept mistaking it for that. Yeah, that's what it was. I misremembered for a minute, but I have also been smoking, so.
At S.T. 0PM0SS sent a super chat. I bet if Shaman wasn't a Nazi, Anthony would defend him.
That's my question for you. If any little gabagoons want to relay that back to him, what makes Shadiversity's novel where young girls get raped not dark and deep and meaningful, and you know, a meaningful exploration of that? How come that's not dark and meaningful, Anthony?
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. Cut out the parts and this is basically the same video he made years ago.
Yeah, but the earlier video, his comments about Metamorphosis were far more damning.
At Dr. Lizard Brain sent a super chat. If I'm watching an anime, and they do the boy falls on girl and grabs her scene, I lose interest.
Yeah, fair. That's fair, you know? Any reason you want to stop watching something is fair.
At Nostalgic Nerd 9036 sent a super chat. It's Nostalgic Critic and Sailor Moon all over again.
I can at least say that Doug was probably just dumb on that one.
At Saucinist sent a super chat. Subscribe for more fan service from Sai.
Yeah, you can make me go ara with super chats. That's my fan service.
At Danny_Strava send a super chat. No, and as you are out touch.
Yeah, Talking Movie Bubbles has been really fucking quiet since the start of stream. It's interesting.
At Lillian Lee Quarries sent a super chat. By guy extensively only discusses girl fan service.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, he just can't imagine it happening to men because he likes when women are really, really degraded. Alright, so I'm gonna wrap up. It's about 9:50. In 10 minutes, the Celtic Phoenix crew are gonna do a bad fanfic reading, so I'm gonna send you over to them. At least over on YouTube I am, so you guys can enjoy that. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your super chats. Very generous. I did hope this would be good for my channel. Like I said, next week, you guys are gonna get to vote on both the Wednesday stream and the Friday stream. I promise it's gonna be all fun stuff. I might also do a game on Tuesday. I didn't put that on the schedule because I'm not sure yet. But yes, so look forward to that. We'll do all fun things for Brain Bleach next week. So if you enjoyed yourself here, stick around, hit the subscribe. I'd appreciate it a lot. And hopefully I will catch you guys next time. Goodbye for now.
At the _space frog sent a super chat. Not ara, but since she bread.
Alright. Bread. Okay, good night.